but all right.
Okay, what do you got to say about China? Let's hear it.
Uh, China's probably doing a genocide.
Okay.
Let's see.
Anything else?
Uh, that's really the biggest criticism
Okay,
I have
sure,
of them.
sure. So, prove China's doing a genocide. Go ahead.
Well, there seems to be a plethora of data that even China admits to in their state media of
Okay.
things that they're doing that are negative towards the Uyghur or the Uyghur ethnic minority. So,
Okay, is that the same thing as genocide?
would you call the boarding schools that we put indigenous children into in the U.S. and in Canada a ethnic genocide where we
Historically, that
force
was their
them?
context, yes.
Yeah, and so I would say that it's pretty similar what they're doing over there, where they're saying, not allowed to use your language. You have to learn this language, and if you're caught using it afterwards, you get in
Oh,
trouble.
so
And
you're saying you have proof that the Uyghur language is banned? That's interesting.
well, that seems to
I'd
be
like you
something
to
that the
bring it to my
Chinese
attention.
government is also doing.
Well,
Like
I'd love you
they're
to bring it to
saying
my
that
attention
they're
that the Uyghur language is banned. That's news to me. Bring it to my attention. Go ahead. What's the evidence?
well, they talk about it in the Chinese state media.
Oh, show me. Show me.
Let me go grab myself some links.
He's getting the links, guys. Don't worry.
However, according to yeah, so let's see. Let me see if this is too Anglo of a source
No,
for
no,
you.
no. Please just link it to me, and I'll just review it and see where their primary sources is. I want to see what their methodology is on their own terms.
Well, sure, I don't have like a fucking paste bin of links to throw at you, so I'm also checking out which ones are
Oh, you're googling
legitimate.
it basically.
Well, yeah, I didn't know that I was
Yeah,
going
it's
to be
like so
debating
you're
China
pretty
today.
much you're shooting the arrow and trying to find the target, basically. Right?
Well,
You're making an accusation and trying to find evidence to back it up. So it sounds like you were
well,
uninformed when you were making that accusation.
well, I could say all sorts of things where I make things up. There are corroborated stories about people in China that are doing this, right? I
They're
don't think
doing
it's
what?
nearly as,
Specifically what,
huh?
though? You said they were banning the Uyghur language. You couldn't back it up with anything.
I'm I don't know what you want me to do here.
I
Okay.
just want you to prove it to me. Prove what you
All right.
said.
Here, copy.
Simple.
This is the first link on Google.
Sure.
We can
Okay.
go
You
through it
Googled
together.
it. You said it first and then you Googled it. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Where can I find
Well,
it?
I'm DMing it to you right now. Seems like the easiest way. Excuse me? Why did that happen? Oh, it worked.
All
There we
right.
go.
Chat. It's a surprise what the link is. Ready?
It's Radio Free Asia. I have it up on my screen.
Okay. China
Okay.
bans Uyghur language in schools in key Xinjiang prefecture. Okay,
Okay.
listen, Sansol. Even if
Sure.
even if I just took this at the headline at face value and said, this is objectively the truth, there's no conflicts of interest, there's no bias, this is
Sure.
the simple, plain-faced truth, I'm just going to accept it because Google gave me this source, so it must be true. Even if I were to accept the worst possible conclusion, that doesn't mean the government's banning the Uyghur language. It means the Uyghur language is allegedly, supposedly banned in schools. Which schools is not clear. In a key
Oh, sure. And the
Xinjiang
way that we did
prefecture.
it in
So you
the
see
to the
how
native tribes here in the U.S.
you see how you made the
Yeah.
leap from
Well,
saying the
hold on.
Chinese
No,
government's
but
banning
like
the
you wouldn't do.
language.
Okay. Well, would you say then that we didn't do that to the indigenous children here in the U.S. when we, it wasn't illegal to speak, Cherokee or whatever, but they weren't allowed to learn their language from a very young age, so the language died out. That's why there's like 1,000 people that speak Creek or Cherokee nowadays, right? Because we
Well,
destroyed their culture.
keep in mind, first of all, that I'm just assuming that this link of yours is 100%
Well,
factually
sure, but
correct.
don't throw away right out of
Like, for
hand
example,
because you.
if I were to throw you a source that is wholly coming from the Chinese government, you would immediately say, well, I'm not going to accept that. I'm skeptical, right? You would. Can I be fair to assume you would
No,
assume
I'm
a
saying
skeptical
that you can be skeptical of the link, right?
Okay.
I'm
Well,
totally fine with that.
so I just want to clarify first that we're just assuming that link is correct when we're entertaining this. But when we're entertaining that, okay, if all the U.S. was doing was that when it come to the indigenous people, then that wouldn't be enough to say that it was a genocide. But it's the context.
Well, right. I didn't say that was
It's
the only thing that they were
but
doing.
it's the
was it?
context of the U.S. government's relationship to the indigenous population that defines the meaning of them erasing the culture and the language in the schools. The context in China's case is entirely different.
What would be the difference between the two then for you?
Well, the difference is that there was an actual genocide against Native American population perpetrated by
Well, that's
yeah. Go ahead.
wait. When I say what is the difference in your mind? I'm
No,
not
I mean
saying
like there was an actual
because that's
genocide,
begging
as in
the
like
question, right?
like massacres and things like that. Like there was an actual genocide. That's the
Well,
context.
well, sure. Do you think that you have to kill a bunch of people in order for it to be a genocide, or
Well, according to how the UN defines it, not necessarily, but you do have to prove that there's a intention to erase a group, to basically exterminate the group by one means or another. So the accusation of genocide is very serious. But another thing you have to point out, but even the UN's definition is political and heavily contested, and it was created during the 50s. But if we go off the UN's definition, that's what genocide means. You don't just say genocide means that you perceive
No,
that the Chinese.
I'm actually like super okay with that line of conversation. Actually, what I'm super curious about, because I've had this conversation over the past couple of weeks with my chat and with other people are jumping in chat, is the biggest contention for people that are like super into China, is their biggest contention the name or the label genocide, or is it any of the claims?
It's a combination of both. A lot of the claims
Okay.
appear to be exaggerated and ridiculous. And that corresponds to the label that there's a. Now, when you say there's a Uyghur genocide going on, the first thing ticking in people's head is, what's a Uyghur? It's just some foreign exotic name. And we know about a lot of horrible foreign exotic massacres.
Americans don't know fucking anything about foreign policy or anything.
We know a lot about horrible things that happen in foreign countries. So there's a bias for Americans to just accept that there's a Uyghur genocide just because it sounds foreign and it sounds bad.
I don't know about that one. That one feels weird. To me, this is the reality that I see, right? Even by China's own admission, there's a lot of things that they are admitting to that I don't think that any reasonable person would be okay with the US government doing, such as, vocational camps where they make sure that they're like teaching them not to speak their own language, right? The absolutely crazy amount of surveillance that's going on over there, the unbelievable amount of things that can list you as being a red flag, right? Like these are all things like just owning camping equipment, right? This is something that the Chinese government has confirmed that the list of the red flags is real, right?
Okay, well, two things.
They don't contest. Yeah,
sure,
go for it.
Two things. The first thing is that the reason we wouldn't find it acceptable in America is because we're Americans. So this is our country, it's our business, and it's what's going on here. We know our country, we have a feel for what goes on in our country. So obviously, in a vacuum, if the U.S. government was just starting to, ban the Spanish, teaching of Spanish in schools, I don't know what the equivalence would be. Yeah, there would be all sorts of outrage, but the context is so different. The difference is that we're familiar. Not only is it our business because we are Americans, and it actually makes a difference what we think about what America does. We actually know the American context. We don't know the Chinese context. We don't know actually what's going on in China. We have no idea about this country with over 1 billion people, beyond the fact that people are spreading this idea that there's horrible.
I think that even given the things that they are saying, I don't think that we would accept that here in the U.S. Right? Well, if there was a couple of people, and there have been during the beginning of Trump's presidency, right? there are a couple of people that did terrorist attacks in the U.S., right? This is just something that happened. If the U.S. government started, rounding up people that were Muslim and putting them into education camps about like patriotic education, I think that we would also be really upset about that, right? Even if we take China at everything that they're saying at their word, right, about the reasons why they're doing
Yeah.
it, the things that they are
Well,
doing, I think that the context of that even is really fucking like not
Sure.
great.
Okay. Well, two things. One, again, we wouldn't accept it if it happened in the U.S. because China isn't the U.S. It's two entirely different countries. And regarding that context, you can't actually compare Muslim terrorist attacks in the U.S. to Muslims in China because the Muslims that live in China have lived there well before the Communist Party took power. They have
Well,
actual,
sure, that would
they
make it
actually,
worse,
they
though.
have actual roots in China. Well, I think a more fair comparison is actually with the black population in America. Now, to give you some perspective about these so-called concentration camps, if we just go off on arrests alone, not detentions, but just arrests, in 2017, which was the supposed crazy spike of arrests in Xinjiang that were so disproportionate and insane, there was a total of 227,000 arrests, people in Xinjiang, right? The data doesn't tell us whether they're ethnically Uyghur or Han, but maybe we can just say that most of them are probably ethnically Uyghur. We don't know, right? So let's just even assume the worst thing. That's 227,000 out of a population of somewhere around the ballpark of 30 million, right? In the same year in the US, 2.8 million black people were arrested.
Right. No, I understand that that I understand that. What we have in the U.S.
Just let me
like
clarify.
I don't
Let me
I
clarify.
understand what you're
Yeah, but
saying.
just let me
Like what
clarify
the
this.
U.S.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
sure, yeah.
Let me further clarify something to give you perspective. It's not the population is comparable, but of the people living in Xinjiang to the black population in America, and you're talking about 10 times as many people in a
Right.
comparable.
I understand
Yeah.
what. Yeah, the U.S. does fucking horrible things with our justice system. I understand this, but we're not talking about the U.S. right now. I'm
But you
fine
just
talking
said
about the
if it
U.S.
was
at another
happening in the
time.
U.S.
Say it again. You cut out.
But you just said we wouldn't accept it if it happened in the U.S. and it seems like the
Yeah, and we're fighting
disproportionate
against, and
targeting
people
of.
are mad about the justice system here in the U.S.
Right, but they're not really saying there's a black genocide going on.
Well, right, because just because people are getting arrested, there's a difference between being arrested for one thing and then having, your entire culture stripped away from you, your language stripped away from
Well,
you,
I think.
right? For much lesser crimes than even people are
Wait,
getting arrested for in the U.S. We have
wait.
rules in the
You don't
U.S.
think
for. Sorry,
black
again?
people's culture and language was erased? Do you know how they got here, dude?
Oh, well, when they got here, yes, right? I'm talking about right now.
Okay, sure, but you don't think that systemic racism and the prison industrial complex has disastrous consequences for the development of black culture within the United States?
Um, Disastrous for their culture.
Yeah.
Perhaps. Well, I mean, a lot of black culture has come out of the fact that they are oppressed, right?
But there's
So we can
still
look at
but
their music and the things that they talk about through art and poetry and stuff like that. Right? It doesn't erase their culture. It is incorporated into their
But
culture, right?
you don't think that what they're enduring is a form of repression that is
No, I
erasing
didn't
the
say that.
develop well you don't think it's repressing the development of an otherwise flourishing culture that like you're saying that the Chinese government is doing
I don't
making
think there's any
policy.
way for us to know if the culture would just explode otherwise. I feel
Well,
like
I
their
think
culture is
yeah,
very rich already, right?
well that's true, but I think it's fair to say that the US is having bad consequences for bad culture in its policies by repressing and engaging in the oppression of black people. I'll give you a concrete example of this.
Right, but
If you're
the
in a
idea that,
family and your
well,
father's in
really quick,
okay.
the idea that repressing people is the exact same thing as a cultural genocide, I don't think is a fair comparison, because if we're talking about the way that black people are treated in the U.S., sure,
Yeah.
we all can accept that they're have been oppressed for the entire time that they've been here, right? But we're not right now, right? In the past, we have definitely done this. But right now, we're not saying that you have to speak a certain language or you have to, we're not arresting them for owning camping gear. We're not
Yeah.
arresting them for having long beards. We're not arresting them.
Okay.
These are things that are important
Wait.
to
You're
the.
making a lot of claims. So first you said having
Well, these are
camping
things
gear.
that the Chinese government have. I'm only going to operate in this discussion
Yeah.
off of things that I know that the Chinese government have
Has the Chinese government
admitted to.
engaged in a ban of long beards in Xinjiang?
It's one of the things that can get you red flagged for extra scrutiny or to be
Oh,
thrown
okay.
into one of the prisons. It's not
Well, what I've
necessarily.
read from based on these supposedly leaked documents is
Mhm.
that if someone is exhibiting signs of basically religious extremism, growing a
Sure.
large beard, in context, is one of those. Now, in every context, is that true? No, but it can be an indication that maybe someone is being radicalized, and they should have an eye kept on them or whatever. Well, okay, but that's kind of a leap to say that they're banning long beards. I mean, it's a fact that um, growing a beard can be a sign of religious extremism. I don't see.
Sure. So
Yeah.
what if there was a extremist movement in the U.S. and this extremist movement, everyone in it wore a very specific kind of Nikes that was kind of popular, right?
Right.
Would we then feel comfortable banning a certain kind of clothing
But
or
dude, we
something like
do
that?
that. We do that for gangs. We ban certain gang symbols and we ban gang clothing in schools. So it's kind of a bad
Well, okay.
example.
Well, schools are,
We
are
also
different
ban
than
ISIS
legal,
stuff.
right?
What's that?
Say it again.
We
I
like
think
you
that
can't. You
saying
also
that like
can't
dress
wear
codes in
ISIS
schools,
paraphernalia in schools.
right? But that's not the law.
Well,
Dress
does
codes
it need to
in
be? Well,
schools are different
if
than.
it got to the point of being a problem, I sure they would. I'm sure they would start passing laws. But the comparison is a little bit problematic in the first place because the reason the U.S. government doesn't have to engage in this kind of uniformization of the national culture or whatever they're doing because it's already uniform at the political level. There's no equivalent among the black population or the Latino population of the level of autonomy, both politically and culturally, that Xinjiang has enjoyed since the founding of the People's Republic of China. And now many people have said in the ultimate and last instance, they don't have sovereignty because they're part of China. And that's true, they don't have full sovereignty, but they do have a high degree of autonomy in terms of how it's run on a day-to-day basis. And an example of this is the fact that there was a high level of autonomy in what they were printing in their textbooks. They were getting funding
Mhm.
from all sorts of countries, Turkey, and the Chinese government isn't controlling every aspect of what's going on in its provinces. Xinjiang, and specifically, I suppose the picture that's forming in my head is that the Xinjiang autonomy has grown in a direction that the Chinese government feels it needs to intervene. I actually can't even confidently say that. I'm just thinking of it in terms of you're beginning with a baseline of a profound level of autonomy that no minority in the U.S. would ever be able to dream of, be able to enjoy. Like black people don't
Well,
have their own.
I don't know what. Like, I know a little bit about the history of the region. I know a little bit of the history in the past like 20 years, what might have led up to the the kind of things that have led to like whatever you want to call these things, just for the sake of conversation. Um, the like camps and stuff, right? Um, and I just don't think that any of the actions. I don't care about the autonomy or anything like that. I know a little bit about the governmental structure of China. Um, what I'm concerned about is the way that we talk about. It feels like instead of it being actually attacking the points or the things that are happening in China, right? It feels like it's just anything that America does bad and anything China does good. And I think that even if we are socialists, and even if like whatever, I think that we should be incredibly critical of you know, any regime that's in charge of a country, right?
Okay, so I'm gathering. It's kind of hard to follow you. There's a lot of kindas and maybe
Yeah, sorry.
maybes, but
Do you want me to restate it a
it
little
seems
bit
like
clearer?
what you're trying to say is that you don't really know anything about China, but you feel like you're so much an authority to
I mean,
speak on it that you need to be the
I
one to
know enough
criticize
about
China.
the
But what I
Xinjiang
but what I
situation to feel comfortable talking on it.
right, okay, well, but you don't actually know anything about the relationship between the Xinjiang province and the Chinese government, and you don't actually care how any of that
Oh, sure,
works.
yeah, I know that the people
Yeah.
in Xinjiang, well, there's a feeling in Xinjiang that they are not being ruled by a legitimate successor to the last government. That's one of the arguments they use for
Well, I'm just
independence.
saying you don't actually know much about how China works and how its government works, and I think you just begin with this
I mean, I
prejudice
know
that it's
about
it's
their
just a.
governmental structure, and
Oh, you
I don't
do,
know what
you
part
do.
that I need to know.
Okay, so you
Yeah,
do know about its governmental structure. That's great.
yeah,
Okay,
sure.
excellent.
I
Yeah.
like to do research and stuff.
So you know about the extent of Xinjiang's autonomy as a province?
I know that they had it was like the, oh fuck, I don't remember if it was the Xinjiang Autonomous Region or the Uyghur Autonomous Region. Yeah, I know about that, right? But I don't think that that's relevant to what we're talking about,
Why not?
because I feel like even if they had more autonomy, the fact that now there is, by China's own admission, a lot of Uyghurs being interned into camps to re-educate them. I don't think that that's relevant, or I don't understand why it
Well,
would be
China,
relevant.
according to China's view, which you will deny, but I have just as much as right to deny your sources by
Sure.
the same token. According to China's view, these are vocational centers, which also exist in other places in China that are training the population and preparing them for jobs. Basically, they're not really that out of the ordinary as far as how China's government works and how it relates to its population.
Wait, I'm confused. Are
Yeah.
you saying that everyone's going to vocational schools all over the place? I'm confused.
There are other vocational schools outside of Xinjiang.
Well, sure, but are they detaining a very, very specific group of people there as well?
I don't know enough. I don't know enough.
Well, I do know the answer is no. None of the other ethnic
Oh, how do you
minorities
know?
in China right now are being uh, detained at the same rate or for nearly the same reasons as they are in Xinjiang.
I'm guessing that's an inference. Maybe it's a fair inference.
No,
I'm not sure if you actually
I
know
mean,
that.
I looked at
It could be a fair inference, but
no, I
um,
looked at like data for this.
so okay, yeah, okay. So that may be
Uh,
true, but
yeah, go ahead.
maybe that reflects on the level of Xinjiang's development in relation to the rest of China. Maybe it reflects.
In what way?
Well, Xinjiang is less developed than the rest. It's less industrialized and it's less modernized than the rest of China.
But why would that lead to so many Uyghur Muslims being
Well,
detained?
to play the devil's advocate, it might be because they need the necessary skills and knowledge and training to be able to participate in the modern job
But
market.
that's not what China is saying, though.
Okay, what are they saying?
They're saying that there's insurrectionist beliefs and that they are like, supportive of um,
Yeah.
independence and of terrorist groups, right?
No, well, it's a combination of both. China also may be trying to address the possibility of separatistic and Islamic
Well, that was the
fundamentalist.
primary reason that I've seen them put out there is that they
Yeah,
are
I don't
only doing
doubt
this to
that.
people.
To be fair though,
And that's the
I
same thing
don't
that you
doubt
said earlier.
I don't doubt that's the primary reason you've seen because the primary spin of this story as you've seen it is that there's a Uyghur genocide. So of course
From the
they're all
Chinese government, though.
but the Chinese government isn't only well that but you're not going directly to the source of the Chinese government to be able to fairly assess what it's saying about the situation. You're going to secondary sources who are citing those primary sources selectively.
You're saying that China is picking its own sources selectively? Sorry,
No, I think
I'm not sure if I'm
the
following.
secondary sources that you're getting this stuff from are selectively choosing documents from the Chinese government to
No, this is
spin.
like Chinese state media.
Okay, so you know the extent to which the proportion with of which the Chinese state
That
media is focusing only on the aspect of separatism and religious
I
extremism and not
I
other things
figure,
like
yeah, I
basic
figured when
training.
I looked into
Um,
this that it would be
Wait,
less.
do you speak Mandarin? Do you
I
speak
mean,
Uyghur?
it's translated, and they have the
Oh, it's all translated.
international branch of their state media. So it's like Chinese
Well, hold
translation,
on. Wait a
like the
minute.
government translating their own news source. So I'd assume
Wait,
that
wait,
it's
wait,
not
wait,
Western
wait. Wait a
propaganda.
moment. Wait a moment. The international news that's in English in China is focusing on that aspect because that's what's being heavily reported in the West. So they're trying to dispel a lot of the things being said specifically about that. But you haven't actually proven to me that you've actually arrived at a necessary level of knowledge to know whether the Chinese government is mainly spinning it in terms of combating religious extremism and separatism rather than integrating the population in
So do
Xinjiang.
you think that
Yeah.
it's the reason that they are spinning it, that it's to combat religious extremism, is because they think that everyone would think it would be horrible if they imprisoned people to learn how to do a certain trade without cause? Is that what you're
No,
saying?
I think you're confused right now. I'm trying to say there's a lot of reasons why there's vocational centers in Xinjiang, and
Right.
people want
But
to make
they're
it seem
like the
like,
only two reasons I could think of for that, right? Is
but I
either
gave you
by
more
your admission
reasons.
that they're trying to
Yeah.
treat people or like teach people how to like work in a modern country, or by their admission to combat extremism.
Why
So
can't it be
either way,
both?
those things would be
Right.
really ghoulish.
But why couldn't it be both? I can give you an example of why it could be
But
both.
either way,
Yeah.
it would be bad.
But I can give you an example of why it could be both. For example, the
But
according to
even if it's
Uyghur.
both, it's bad. That's the problem.
Oh, are you finished, or
We
can I talk, or do you want to say it's bad
I
again?
just want you to admit that if
Yeah.
we were imprisoning people randomly that were just like high school dropouts, right? And we started imprisoning them and teaching them how to weld, that
Yeah.
would be an imposition of their rights, correct?
Well, America works differently than China, so in the American context, that does sound pretty horrible, admittedly, but you would have to presuppose the same level of acquaintance with Chinese society as you do with American society to arrive at that judgment. And I don't think you have that
I
level
think
of
that in any
acquaintance.
context, I would not want people to be imprisoned against their will to learn how to weld.
Well, I suppose, but I think your any context is pretty much just America because that's all you know.
What
How?
context would it be acceptable to imprison someone to teach them how to weld for no reason?
Um. Well, you just said for no reason, so I guess no context.
Okay. So let's move it closer to this situation. Under what country's context would it be acceptable for someone to imprison someone based off of their ethnic background to teach them a vocation
Well,
against their
I
will?
haven't actually had any data tell me that China is has a policy of detaining people strictly based on their ethnic background, um, and also vocational schools, according to the Chinese government, since you um,
Yeah.
are using that as your source, are voluntary. They're not actually forms of imprisonment. But admittedly, in China, the way China works is that they don't have a view of unconditional individual freedom. So it's just not how their society works, and that's true for many other societies. But I wanted
Yeah,
to
but those
talk
are
about
bad
how,
societies if you don't have freedoms
well,
to choose what you do or what
yeah,
you like. I don't
yeah,
understand why we would stand this country if they get to choose what you do for your living, right?
well,
If you don't have any choice in,
yeah,
like, if you are like particularly talented at, I don't know, if you're like particularly talented at teaching, right? You're a very, very good teacher and you know a lot about math. And then the government comes in and puts you in a facility and teaches you how to, I don't know, fix machines,
right.
and
Well,
you're like that's
has
the only thing that you're allowed to do, then that's also a bad thing, even if it's a like based
right.
epic socialist country.
Well, okay. Well, two things.
Uh-huh.
No one's talking about standing anything. I don't know what you mean by that. That's what you said. Second
Well,
thing. Okay. Well,
okay, go
can
ahead.
I go ahead? Second thing is that I think I don't know if you have a level of self awareness for this to make sense to you, but when you're when you're saying that I think it would be bad because it would because a teacher should teach, like, you don't think China has meritocratic systems that deal with that? I mean, do you really? I
Well,
mean,
you're
well,
telling me,
let me finish. Let
right?
me finish.
Yeah.
Just because individuals don't have unconditional freedom to do whatever they want in Chinese society doesn't mean that the government acts arbitrarily in relation to them. And it doesn't mean that the relation between the government and the people is just one sided. It's also double sided. Individuals do impact, ultimately, how the government relates to them, but it's a two sided affair. Now, someone in my chat is spamming us, so it's a good point. I'll bring it up. How many, and stop spamming, dude, I'm going to time you out. How many talented people in America can afford to get the education that they want and they need? I think your point's kind of ridiculous.
Um, well, again, what I'm talking about is not affordability of education.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about being forced to do something against your will. All right. So I think that that's a ridiculous
But a
comparison.
vocational
Right?
training center doesn't force you to have a certain job against your will. It just trains you and equips you to have the necessary skills to enter the job market in the first place. Now, what jobs you're
Okay.
going to be
But
doing?
if you are going into if you're going into this vocational school against your will, I think that that is a bad thing.
Well, I don't know that it's being forced. I think the context from what I've heard of it being forced was if there's if people who are sentenced to actual prisons in China also have the opportunity to use the vocational programs, and similar systems exist in both the United States and throughout Western Europe.
It, I'm sorry. Can you say that last half of that sentence again?
Yeah.
What about Western Europe? Sorry,
Yeah,
I need
in
to
prisons
minimize
in
my
the yeah
chat.
prisons in the U.S. and Western Europe have vocational
Sure. Yes.
centers as well.
Right. Again, but we're talking about people who have not necessarily committed crimes. Right. The Chinese government, they have admitted to the absolute amazing amount of surveillance that people in the Xinjiang region are having to go through,
Yeah.
including, right, requiring specific groups of people, namely the Uyghur Muslims, to have to download a kind of software onto their phone so that the government knows exactly what's on their phone at all times. If
Okay.
a Uyghur Muslim gets stopped by the police, they can have their phone confiscated and searched through by the policeman, right? All these things are things that I think are not
Yeah.
good.
Pretty
And
much.
if they are
Yeah.
caught with anything that is not not 100% kosher with the Chinese government, they can be taken
Sure.
to a vocational camp.
Okay. Well, two things. The first thing is that mass surveillance isn't genocide. Okay. If
Mass
you
surveillance with the purpose of getting people to go to imprison people in like concentration camps
oh,
is genocide,
is
though.
that why they have mass surveillance in Xinjiang? Because they have mass surveillance throughout all of China.
I know, but there's evidence from Chinese economic sources, right, that shows that there has been an uh, unbelievable uptick in the amount of surveillance infrastructure that's been put into
Well,
Xinjiang.
there is. No one's
Yeah,
no one's denying that there is, of course, because
right.
there's an issue of
There's
separatism.
more in Xinjiang.
But the reason for that is because there's an issue of religious extremism and separatism in Xinjiang, as evidenced by how much was it, 1,000 or over 1,000 Uyghurs that were found in the ranks of ISIS within Syria. So there
This
is
is this is the problem that we've run into like 4 or 5 times in this conversation. We've run
Mhm.
into the conversation where it is, well, it's not mostly because of religious extremism, but it is mostly because of religious extremism. Well, it's mostly because people don't have the necessary jobs training in order to enter the workforce. Well, it's mostly because of that. Well, it's not mostly because of that.
What are you saying, dude? Are you okay? I mean, what are you saying? I'm confused. Hello? Hello? You cut out? I can't hear anything you're saying. He cut out. Hello? Hold on, let me DM him. Okay, here we go.
Oh, sorry, my internet died. What was the last thing you heard me say?
Um, the last thing I heard you say was sounded very confused, and I asked you if you were okay. And another question, Sanso, I have for you is: how come every time I talk to you, I get these people who spam penises in my chat?
Well, I have people that are spamming grills and sons in my chat, so I
Okay,
think that
but
it's
that's not
a mutually
TOS.
assured
But
destruction
those
thing.
aren't TOS. What you're trying to do is spam TOS things in my chat.
I'm not spamming anything.
But
Fucking
how
wait.
come every
Oh,
time?
sorry, my
Yeah.
computer. I thought that it disconnected again. Say it again.
How come every time I encounter you in any way, you're always somehow spamming? I always get these people spamming
Well,
swastikas,
if you
penises.
give me their
This is the
usernames, I will
guy.
ban them from my
Her
chat
name is
right here
Aurora.
live.
It sounds really sus, dude. It's super sus.
What is it?
They're
I'm
bots.
typing out.
They're bots. They all
Well,
have.
how could I possibly send a bot over to you? Does it even work like that? I
I
have
don't.
slash ban and username ready.
I don't know, dude, but it's super sus.
Well,
But
tell me their username and I'll ban them.
her name is Aurora.
All right.
But
At AU, I don't have anyone named Aurora in my chat.
yeah, it kind of seems like maybe you or someone you know is using bots to try to get me banned in my chat. But we have Nightbot, thankfully,
I
that
don't
deletes them.
I don't know anyone named Aurora, and I also do not have the fucking funds to buy any bots. All right, I'm poor.
But how come every time I ever interact with you in any way, they come? It's only with you.
It's only with me. Sorry about that, friend. False flag operations out the wazoo. Literally 1984. I don't know what to fucking tell you, buddy.
Yeah, but it's pretty sus, dude. Come on.
It's pretty sus. Well, if there's only one bot that's spamming penises, then ban them. Otherwise, tell me the name of the people that are spamming penises in your chat, and I will ban them from my chat because I don't allow that shit in my community.
There's like 10. Hey,
All right, then
and
tell me their
mods, is
usernames.
Nightbot not working? What happened to Nightbot? Isn't Nightbot supposed to?
Here, you know what? I'll go over to your chat right now and I'll look at their usernames since you don't want to tell me them.
There,
Here,
well, I doubt that
Twitch.tv.
these are bots. These are not legitimate users, so they're bots. They're not going to be people who chat in your chat. They're just bots.
Then why are you saying that they're people that are from my chat?
Because I'm guessing that people hire bots to do this, or they have some kind of thing. I honestly don't know why. How come every time I interact with you, they come? It's only
I feel
you.
like you realize that there's no real defense for anything that's happening in Xinjiang, and
Okay,
so
we can
you're
go back to
trying
the
to
topic. We
like
can go back.
construct some
Wait,
sort
wait,
of
wait,
weird
wait, wait,
thing that's
wait.
happening.
The last thing we left off on was you sounding confused about different points of our argument. Just kind of. So, what did you actually want to say?
Uh, okay, that's what I was trying to ask you. I don't remember what we were talking about before the thing.
You were just
Tat
basically
TV.
trying to repeat some of the things I said, but out of
Okay,
context.
but
And
Tat
yeah,
TV is not in my chat. All right. Well, it looks like the penises are gone. So,
mods, please take care of it. Okay, you're watching it religiously. Okay, we got it taken care of.
does anyone in my chat remember what I was talking about before my internet cut?
You were talking. All you said was that here's the problem with our argument. You keep making arguments, and you were just repeating some of my arguments, and I was kind of confused. I think you were like, yeah, I don't remember exactly what you said.
Okay. So this is what I guess I'll just start a new line of conversation then in regards to this.
Sure.
I don't think that when we are talking about China's treatment of the Uyghur Muslims, I don't think that it is appropriate for us to try and assume that even the things that China is saying are not true, right? I think that when we look at it, we should have a consistent set of values, right? So I don't think that having a different context of human rights in the US or China is a good thing. I think that having freedom, like individual freedom to choose what you do and not to be arrested for being associated but not found guilty of being with a religious extremist movement. Being Muslim does not make you a terrorist, right?
Oh, well, do you not know about the mosques that are being built in China? Do you not know about the Hui Muslim
I know about the
population?
mosques in Xinjiang
But do you know
that are
that?
being converted from being places of worship to bars and public toilets.
Oh, which ones?
Do you want me to give you their addresses?
Preferably, if you can go that far. Can you give me anything?
There is uh, evidence that shows that mosques are being shut down in Xinjiang. I'm taking you at your word. Would hope that you would extend to me the same courtesy, since we're not just like going
Well,
to bury China and fucking right.
I can't just take your word for it. It's kind of a pretty outlandish accusation that they're turning mosques into bars and toilets. Come on, man. I need some evidence for that.
All right. Well, there's two ways that this can go. We either sit here until one or both of us gets irritated enough to start screeching and give the chat some kind of entertainment, or we can table this discussion and we can come at each other on Thursday or Friday with a bunch of sources. Since right now all we can do is take each other's word for it.
You don't really have any leverage to dictate scheduling of continuing this conversation.
Well, I'm not dictating. I'm offering.
Brought you on here completely arbitrarily, because you said
All
I was
conversations on Twitch are arbitrary.
to
That
argue
doesn't.
about China, and it doesn't. It seems like you've come up short. You said we should have values that we should apply universally, but if you don't know anything about the other country, I'm not sure what worth your values actually have, unless you think that.
Because you're asking me for the exact address of mosques in China that have been shut down and turned into other things.
I said preferably. I'm saying, can you give me any evidence that corroborates that?
All right. So, copy. I'll send you this link.
Let's go ahead and.
If they are too Western for you, you can let me know.
So this is something that's Xinjiang mosques renovated, equipped with better amenities. So that's a link I have. China demolishes mosque to construct public toilet in Xinjiang. This is znews.india.com. I'm not sure the validity, but I guess we'll have to go and see what they're saying. A public toilet.
Where did you put the link that you sent me?
Sorry?
Where did you put the link that you were sending me?
Oh,
or did you not send it yet?
no, I didn't send it yet. Hold on.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Yeah. I'll send you that one. This is from CGTN. This is Chinese media. A public toilet has been erected on the site of a demolished mosque in Atush City in northwest China's Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous. Some observers believe it is a mission of the Chinese. Okay. Directive to I'm looking for primary sources. There are none. So it's just this article saying that, but I don't know where they're getting that from. Do you know where the article got it from, or did you just listen to this, whatever this article said? Oh, it says some observers are saying this. Oh,
Yeah, and yours is saying unless this is a primary source that is, just
yeah.
very interested in Xinjiang mosques.
Okay, well.
See, this is what I'm talking about. We can just throw links at each other that we haven't vetted, or we can come back to this conversation with things that we have vetted and think are very strong evidence. I wanted to talk
about something else, and you wanted to talk about China.
Well, what did you want to talk about? Did you just want to talk about shit that happened like 2 months ago or something?
Yeah,
because
you lied publicly about how you didn't see a message because it was under a red line, but a red line doesn't hide the message.
Well, I publicly said that I don't know how I fucking missed that, and that it was a mistake, and that was on me, and I admitted to the mistake.
Oh, so you just didn't. Your eyes were looking there, and your cursor was hovering over it, but you just didn't see it.
I don't know why, because I messaged him before it happened, and he didn't respond to my message in time to not do the bad thing. So.
Okay. Well, Is it
I've
fair?
already publicly said, even in.
Oh, okay. And every time I interact with you, I have people who spam my chat with penises and swastikas. That's also a coincidence? Hello? He cut out again. He cuts out at the most convenient. His bot army is being taking up too much internet. He cut out. Hold on, wait for him.
Wait.
You cut
All
out.
right. Am I back?
Yeah, you're
Sorry,
back now.
I can't fucking do anything about AT&T. Sorry about that.
Sure.
What
I'm sure the bot
what was the last
army,
thing I said?
yeah, takes a lot of bandwidth.
I don't know what the fucking problem is. The guy that came out to fix it said that there was a wire exposed and that he fixed it, but it still happens. So
Okay, sure.
yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, when did I cut out?
You were talking about how, in actuality, you didn't see a message even though you saw it.
Okay, well, like I said, uh,
Yeah.
I've already admitted to that mistake, and I don't know how I didn't see it. It was very fucking stupid, and I've already owned up to that. It was in my response video, which I assume you watched, probably many times.
Right. And you don't think the behavior of your friend, she was just being ableist, not racist, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
I'll stand by that.
okay, so you don't think it's a little bit chauvinistic to have a Chinese person who doesn't speak English as their first language come on and then chauvinistically and rudely interrupt them, mocking their accent just because they don't speak English as their first language?
Well, I don't think that she was mocking their accent.
Do
I
you know
think
that
she
there's
was
an
mocking the fact
uptick?
that they were
Yeah.
stuttering.
Well, do you know that there's an uptick in anti-Asian violence and racism in the United States right now?
Sure do. Went over that on my stream.
So you don't think that that behavior would be considered by many Asian people to be chauvinistic and racist?
I think that this is really rich coming from someone that
Mm-hmm.
was being highly transphobic to no
Oh,
comment
was
chick.
was I being transphobic to her? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I think that it was really really easily identifiable as, you saying something like, what was it? These people don't have to dress all gross
Mm-hmm.
and weird and stuff. You don't have, just because you're gay doesn't mean that you have to dress weird. I think that's really fucked up,
Well, it's
right?
not actually
Kind
what
of
I
sounds like a
said.
lot of right wing rhetoric, which is maybe why I called you a
I
fascist.
said leftists are trying to use LGBT people as their excuse for, and I used the example of the Chaz mugshot. I didn't say gay people dress badly and they should dress how I want them to. I actually said most gay people that I know in real life clean up pretty well and they dress nice,
Yeah,
they're
this is
stylish.
literally what right wingers say.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, literally. Like, why do they have to? Why do they have to shove the gayness in my face? Well, I know a couple of gay people, and they
No,
act like normal
I
human
didn't,
beings. All
but
these people are degenerates.
Sansol, I didn't mention their gayness is being rubbed in my face. I said their leftist mental derangement, which has nothing to do with being gay or
Oh yeah,
transgender.
I mean, there are also people that dog whistle about, it's just the leftist mental illness that leads to people being
Well, have you
trans. So,
seen the
I mean,
Chaz mugshot?
it's really hard to understand what you're talking about when you're
Okay,
using like
sure,
language
sure,
identical to fascists.
sure. Okay. So have you seen the Chaz mugshot? Can someone link it to me
Uh,
in the chat? Someone link it to me.
so you're going to take a mugshot and then base your entire
Well, I would just
uh,
want, I want your opinion. Do these people look like they're sane to
just
you?
seems a little bit it just seems a little bit nosebully to try and dictate what people should or shouldn't wear.
Oh, you're talking about the Nazgul. So I guess you're an expert on what Nazgul means.
Well, I know a little bit about it,
Sure, sure.
enough to be able to identify Nosbol type rhetoric. Yeah,
Oh, okay, sure. So what's a Nazgul? I'm curious. Educate me.
yeah, it's like a little bit of Nazi, a little bit of socialist, but it's usually socialist for only a pretty
Oh,
select group of people.
and where did that come from? Where did that word come from?
I don't think that matters whatsoever.
Oh, so you're just
Are you saying national Bolshevik, or are you asking like who invented the term?
no, I'm just saying like where did that Nazgul thing come from? Because it kind of sounds like you're just making up your own view of what that means that has nothing to do with reality.
Uh, so I can describe a Nosbol.
Oh yeah,
I don't
but
know
how
what
can
it
you?
is exactly that
Right.
you're like asking me.
So to you, a Nazbol is anyone who's a Nazi and also a leftist or something?
It's basically like a fascist that has leftist ideals, but for a very specific group of people, or like a much smaller group of people than I would consider acceptable, right?
So who falls under the definition of one besides me, of course?
I would say someone like Eric Stryker. Who's the other one? Allsup. I think that these people are Nazbols.
Oh, so they know Edward Lamanov and all that stuff?
They might.
Oh, they might. Okay.
Caleb Malpin, probably.
So do you know Edward Lamanov?
I don't think that it matters whether I've read a book about this or someone's ideology
Well,
or
he
whoever
was he.
created the term.
But
I think that that is a deflection because
but
you
I thought you
actually
were an
don't have
authority.
any way to argue against it.
But I thought you were an authority on what Nazbol means. So surely you know about Edward
Well, I never
Lamanov.
said that, did I?
Okay, so you're just using words which you don't know,
Well,
basically.
I feel comfortable enough to call you a Nazi, Nazbol, a
Right, but you
fucking
don't actually know
fascist,
what
all
it.
sorts of things.
But you don't know
I
what
think
it.
that people like you are a direct harm to the left, and if you ever gained power, a lot of people like No Comment Chick, probably wouldn't have any rights because
Okay.
your selection for people for how whether they're degenerates or whatever is really weird.
Right, but you're using words which you would admit you don't know what they even mean. So I'm
Which
not sure.
word?
Nazbol.
I've already explained what a Nazbol is.
You've explained what an Nazbol is.
Okay, well, give me your definition. If mine's not
Sure.
adequate enough for
Well, the
you, right?
Nazbol party
If we
was
have
a.
to throw around definitions all day, then this is going to be a very
Actually, it's
fun
not a matter of
conversation. But let's go.
definitions. It's not a matter of definitions. It's just using words
Yeah.
that it seems like you made up or people you know made up that have no bearing on reality. The Nazbol party was formed in Russia and eventually became part of the liberal opposition to Putin. They were considered left wing, so much to the point where I don't like them, actually. I consider them
Mhm.
anarchistic. Consider them punk rock anarchists, but they had LGBT people in their party. Edward Limanov, the leader of the Nazbols, was himself bisexual, and he called for the abolition of the family and the Russian nation itself. So it doesn't
Mm.
really sound like you know what you're talking about when you say Nazbol, when Nazbols, as they actually existed, were more similar to you than me. I'm way more conservative than Nazbols are personally in terms of my personal taste. Not
Oh,
in
so
terms
you're
of what
admitting
I.
to being conservative. Fucking really weird that, huh?
Well, I'm not a conservative in terms of imposing it on others or judging others on that basis. But if you look
Well,
at me,
you're definitely judging No Comment Chick on how she dressed. Is it because you found her to be like really pretty or something? Is that something that was?
well,
Is
I
that the
think we.
problem?
Well,
Is it something
I'm not
you
sure
do that's
if.
really weird or?
I'm not sure if that's a word I would use to describe her, but I think I would just say that it seems like people like her are just put up an edgy appearance in general that has nothing actually to do with necessarily being LGBT. And actually, probably most LGBT people have nothing to do with that. It's mainly just this kind of punk rock leftism, which you seem to
Are
be associated
are
with.
wait, are trans people or LGBT people, are they not allowed to dress like emos?
Well, it's not a matter of who's allowed to dress like who. It's just a
Well,
matter
it
of.
seems like that's what you're implying, that it's not a part of
Well,
being
what does.
a
Sure, but
LGBT
what does
person
her
that you
have.
dress with this aesthetic, right?
What does her being trans have to do? What does being trans have to do with looking like a maniac in the Chaz mugshot?
Well, given the words that you use, very much that is a you
But
thing,
why? Well,
right? I don't think that
I
there's
didn't mention
anything.
trans people. You did, not me. Did you know that there's trans people
You
in?
were the one that was talking about
Okay.
LGBT people don't need to
Wait.
dress like this and dress
Did you
like
know?
maniacs when they're in Chaz and
But did
shit.
you
So
know
you're
that
the one that
there's?
brought that up. You're
Wait,
the
but
one
did
that
you know that
connected it to
there's?
trans identity, my guy.
Did you know that there's a few trans people in our community, at least that I know of?
Wow, there's also trans Nazis. I don't think that that
Okay.
means anything.
So if it doesn't mean anything, why are you bringing it up?
What? What the fuck is that response? So I say you say weird things about trans people and
Like
the way
what?
that they dress, and you mimic right wing
Oh
talking
wait. You
points.
said I
And
said
then
weird
you
things.
respond with, "Well, I'm not actually talking about trans people. You're talking about trans people. I was directly talking about something that you had said on a previous stream.
what did I say?
And then you deflect back to the fact that actually I have trans friends, which is a fucking hilarious response.
I didn't even say that.
Given,
I said,
how much we make fun of people that say, well, actually I have a black friend and he says I can say the N-word. That's kind of a defense that you're doing right
Wait
there.
a second.
And then you try to say that I'm the one that has the problem with trans people, actually, because there are people that are trans and have like really negative views on politics and social issues. People like Blair White, so I think it's really funny that this is the fucking line of conversation that just happened.
Are you done yet, or is that it?
Oh, I'm waiting for you, buddy. Okay. Go ahead.
Well, I was just wondering why you're bringing up trans people and what I specifically said about trans
people. Well,
people.
because we were talking about Nosballs, right? And they're leftists that are conservatives, right?
But what did I say about trans people?
Oh my fucking God. Am I in a time loop? Because we've literally just went over this seconds ago.
Go over it. What did I say about them?
That they LGBT people, they don't have to dress that way, they're just like trying to get attention or whatever.
No,
like I know LGBT people, I know gay people that don't dress that way. They're not trying to get attention,
but Sansol, here's what I actually said. I said the Chaz people are mentally deranged, and there's nothing about being LGBT that it justifies them using them as a shield, because if not probably the majority of LGBT people have nothing to do with this derangement. I'm not prescriptively saying
what derangement could you possibly
Sansol, I need to remind you whose Discord you're in, and I can mute you very easily.
Well, I mean, if you want to mute me, that's your own little baby boy thing to do.
But why are you talking over me? I let you finish your sentence, so let me finish mine.
Because I don't understand what you're saying.
What I'm saying is basically very simple. I wasn't prescriptively saying what transgender or gay people should be doing. I was disentangling leftist derangement from LGBT people.
Wait, are you saying that you don't consider yourself a leftist?
No, but I'm critiquing leftist derangement, which I do think is a real thing.
What would that be?
I think there's a lot of leftist derangement that gets too caught up in hating the world and trying to negate everything and be against society and be against the people and adopt these antisocial tendencies that basically alienate you from the majority of the people in the country within which you reside.
What kind of antisocial?
Well, the type of demeanor and attitude and behavior of the people, for example, at Chaz, where they killed 2 unarmed black kids, and no one even remembers it to this day.
Well, it wasn't the Chaz people, from what I understand.
Well, it was,
right?
Actually. It was.
It was the anarchists that killed the black people, and not the fucking neo-Nazis that drove through there did a drive-by?
You're making things up. It was Chaz leftists who killed those 2 black teenagers.
All right. Well, and you're saying that because of that, what?
It's a sign that there's a deep level of leftist derangement, that it's becoming a circus, and it's becoming a form of psychosis. They tried to create Chaz, and it ended in a psychotic massacre of 2 unarmed black students, when the whole point of Chaz in the first place was to supposedly protest police brutality of unarmed black people and black people in general. They ended up doing the very thing they were trying to protest, and no one remembers it to this day. And it's very strange that you're trying to skirt around and deny this.
No, I don't. I have never heard this thing that you're talking about. People in my chat are, saying the Republican talking points again, because this is literally stuff
I'd love to.
Do you know who Rob Knorr is?
Is that relevant to what I just said, or?
Yeah, because you sound just like him right now.
Well, is what I'm saying wrong?
I am almost certain what you're saying is wrong. That you're saying that people lynched black people in
Chaz? But they did kill them. I didn't say they lynched them. You're putting words in my mouth. They did kill them, though.
Well, but you're saying that they killed them because they were black? I don't understand what the argument is here. I don't see any larger.
Since you're making comparisons between random conservatives, I can compare you to police.
You're comparing random events and assigning it to the left-leaning movement in this country. I don't understand it.
there's a level of left-wing derangement that's thrown under the rug and hidden and occluded, and leftists are in denial about it, and they're trying
Okay,
to make
so
it seem
besides
like,
this one little instance, what other kind of leftist derangement do you see
well, I
happening?
suggest talking to people of color who feel that white leftists are no better than right-wing
Well, I talk to a
white
lot of
people.
people of color.
Well,
Trust me.
I suggest you talk to more to gain more perspective and enrich your perspective, because you
How
kind
many
of,
how many people of color do I need to talk to?
well, I think you need to address the widespread concern that white leftists are no different than white rightists, according to them.
I've never heard this on my side of the political aisle.
Oh, well, it sounds like you're filling yourself in a white echo chamber and you need to reach
No,
out.
it seems like you're echoing fucking conservative talking
It's
points again.
it's kind of bizarre that you call me a Nazbol and yet you share the same color blindness of supposed Nazbols, as leftists call them.
What color blindness have I
Well, you're saying that all of the people of color who are sharing their concerns that white leftists are no better than white rightists, you're
what
erasing
about
their
all the people
voices
of
and
color that
denying them.
are that agree with me on most things that don't think that
Well, I
you
would.
know
Well, I'm curious to see what they have to say about the several people of color who argue that white leftists are no better than white rightists
well
in their experience.
I feel like the only people I've ever seen talk about this are the straw man of what the lefties on Tumblr were, and the only people that ever talked about those people like this with any amount of seriousness, like they were an actual threat to our civilization, were people like Sargon of Akkad
Oh,
and
yeah.
other right wingers and
Well,
fascists.
so it's interesting how selectively you're going to choose that I'm a Nazbol because I'm against American and white supremacist chauvinism, but when it comes to white leftists being the ones criticized, suddenly you're willing to take
I
on
think that this isn't
Nazbol
a
talking points,
major
talking
issue,
about
and
Tumblr.
it's not nearly as prevalent as you seem to be making it out to be. Not by a
Okay.
long shot.
Okay, well, that's your white view, and your view is noted.
Oh, white. He said he called me white, guys. That means that
Well,
I can't argue anymore.
well, I didn't say that. I said that is your white view, and it's noted.
Mhm. It's no good.
Well, it's one view, and it's not the only view.
Sure,
And it's informed by your background, Sansol.
sure.
Okay.
Anything else you want to go over?
Well, you're the one who wanted to, you know. Well, we have people actually who are telling me, messaging me that they're in China and they want to talk to you. Do you want to talk to them?
I mean, we could.
All right. Where are they? Who are they? Wait, they're gone now. Hold on. Is it? Oh, it's this guy. Hey, are you the guy in China? Oh fuck. Tell him to get in the show queue. The red comrades in China, they're not in show queue. Where you at? Which
I guess they got bored
Wu T?
listening to
What's
my
your
white
Discord
voice.
name? Wu T, what's your Discord name? All right, well I guess they're gone now.
Okay.
Um,
Well,
yeah.
if there's nothing else,
So, I guess you weren't really successful in backing up any of the things you were saying about me.
I don't think that you were successful in backing up any of the things that you said about me either.
Oh, like
I'm
what did
not
I say?
convinced.
What did I say?
Western chauvinist, white,
Oh.
grifter, whatever I am to
Well,
you.
calling you a grifter implies that you're actually successful, but you're only 20 viewer Andy, so I'm not worried about that. Don't worry.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything else?
Stalin was a pedophile.
Oh, prove it, please.
Prove he's not.
Well, you're a pedophile.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Prove it.
Prove you're not. Prove you're not. See
Oh
how that
no, my
works?
friend. Oh no, my friend. You were the one that made the claim.
Yeah, but you're the one who made the claim about Stalin.
Yeah, but I don't feel like defending that point because I am playing a video game. I don't want to find
Well, I don't feel like defending it
the
either.
links right now.
I don't feel
So
like defending it either.
okay.
All right. So you agree you're a pedophile, basically?
No, I didn't say I agreed with that at all.
Sounds like you are.
What would you say if I called you a pedophile?
Well, it would be as much worth as you calling Stalin one.
He said he. Oh wait, people in my chat are saying that you said you were going to fuck Polar's world.
No, I didn't.
And you said like you
No.
were gonna
That's not what
fuck
happened.
Polar,
No.
and
But I have evidence. I have evidence for that whole discussion. Someone was talking, and I said, "I'm gonna
well,
fuck."
why haven't you posted it, infrared?
I can post this if your chat demands it. I can post this part. Polar's World was talking.
Because I posted the entire recording of what I had that night,
Sansol.
and for some reason,
Can you let me finish?
for
Polar's
some
World.
reason,
Polar's World was
you kept on
talking.
saying you had the whole conversation, and yet
said,
for
listen.
some reason you weren't able to post anything. So what was it? Did you have the full thing or no?
Well, let me address this one first. Polar's
Yeah,
World
sure.
was talking without me knowing who they were at all. I didn't know anything about them, and I just said, "I'm gonna fuck your girl."
And then you said you were gonna fuck a minor. How
No,
fucking horrible.
I didn't. I said I was gonna fuck your girl. Then someone told me Polar's World was 17, and I said, "How did I know they were 17?"
Oh yeah.
That's exactly what happened.
Prove it.
I can prove it if I really need to. I can prove it. I don't think people are gonna believe it though. It's so stupid. But I can. If enough people bother me about it, I can post it.
Okay.
I might be able to, unless it's TOS. If I said some TOS things in that call, so I don't know. But
yeah, there were a couple of people, but
I might not show it on stream. But
I ended stream right after the raid into no comment chick, so I don't have anything that happened after the raid. So if you have the rest of that call, I would love it. That would be really fantastic. I've been asking for it for a while. You threatened me with it for a while, and then you never posted it after threatening me with it.
We didn't.
So it makes me feel like you don't actually have any longer.
We didn't post it because we only had your stream in its entirety, but we didn't have what happened after you ended your stream.
Oh, then why did you keep on saying that you had the full thing?
Because we did.
You did, but now you don't?
No, we still have it, but we still have it.
But it's the same thing that I posted.
But we didn't catch what happened after you ended the stream is the problem.
Well, right. Neither did I because I ended the stream.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they're here.
A little bit of miscommunication.
We have people from China that are here. So. This person's actually living in China right now. Hello, veggies?
Yes.
Hey, what's up?
Hold on. Hi. Can you guys hear?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you just fine. How's it going?
Okay. There's one more person. Comrade selected needs to be put in as well.
I'll bring him. Here he is.
Okay.
He's here.
Hello?
Hello?
Okay. Now I'm marking.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, I can hear you too. How's it going, guys?
We're doing good.
Glad to hear it. All right. What did I get wrong? Which part was incorrect in your eyes? Everything.
Everything.
Which part of everything?
Everything.
Because there were some things that
Everything
Chinese government admitted to, and
Yeah, I can tell you what they admitted to.
sure.
And it doesn't meet the requirements. The most that it meets was that basically the party sent cadres when they investigated the decades long terrorist attacks that had been happening. So they wanted to track the source of it, right? So they tracked the source of the terrorist attacks, and it was coming from Wahhabists. And they said, well, are these Wahhabists, coming from outside of China or inside of China? And it was a little bit of both. There were some that were trying to get in. Some were Uyghur, some were Turkish, some were not. There were Uyghur Muslims from China that had left, that had been radicalized. This goes back to the 90s. Did you read anything about that? About Uyghurs that are in Guantanamo Bay right now because the ETIM, the East Turkestan Islamic movement, was the original jihadist group that was committing attacks, and they were also coming from Afghanistan, where they were trained. So there's a history there in the 90s, and then when the attacks in the late 90s started happening, the mainstream media kind of ignored things because around that time there was the things going on in Yugoslavia. There were a lot of other things going on. So these are things that flew under the radar in the West. And,
I don't think that any news organization.
I'm setting up the timeline
Go ahead.
here because there needs to be
Mm-hmm.
that needs to be addressed first. You go through the history.
But I don't understand why these things are relevant.
No.
to...
This.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I know what you're talking about, because whenever I first started hearing about this and learning about it, I mean, I live in China, so if China is being accused of committing a genocide, I want to know what's going on, because whenever I moved here, I didn't know anything about it, right? So, before I came here, I didn't really have a strong, like, I'm a tanky stance or anything like that. I'd been an anarcho-communist for most of my adult life, so, I came here to escape poverty. I came here to do something with my life. I didn't care what country I went to, but I decided to come to China because it was my best option. So I looked into it, because that's what you do when you hear the mainstream media talk. It's like, this is probably not the truth. It's coming from the Americans, because I'm from Texas. I know how America
same,
is.
bro.
Yeah. So you know what I mean? So whenever
Well,
I looked into
I would take exception to some of that, but we can continue.
About 2 years ago, the most you can accuse China of is extrajudicial detainment by saying you are required to go to school. Basically, they went to these poor villages. With their party cadres. They sent the party cadres in, and they said, they went door to door talking to the neighbors, the friends, the family, the community members, where they found actual terrorist cells. So they found the terrorist cells. They found the sources of attacks in Xinjiang, the Uyghur autonomous zone, or Uyghur. They found it in Xinjiang.
Are you saying? Wait, I'm sorry. Did you say that all? Yeah, go ahead.
What I'm saying is that Xinjiang is called the Xinjiang Uyghur Autonomous Region because they are the majority. Yep. They're the majority population there. So there were Han and there were Hui, which is another ethnic group of Muslims here. I know a lot of Hui and Uyghur people here I'm in northeast China. So, I go to halal restaurants and things like that nearby my place of employment. So, I wanted to find out is this really happening where I live? Fucked up
really quick. I need to clarify something really quick. All right. So you're saying, number one, that you're saying that they are extrajudicially putting people into vocational schools.
Okay, so let me go through because I can send you the link to this article.
Well, that's a yes or no question.
Journalist, I can no.
Denzel, wait, can I step in for a second?
But I do want him to answer that question. Yes or no?
I actually study education. I'm an education major here in China. So I just want to correct you on something. Yes, everyone is required to have an education. They are definitely entitled to an education here.
Okay.
So I don't want
is
you
it
twisting
appropriate?
what he said.
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
exactly. Because
extrajudicially means outside of the law. That's literally what it means.
Extrajudicial, which is what, because this is coming from this journalist that has been there for years. He
Okay.
went to cover this, and he wrote an article for CGTN since he had been there for a number of years. And so these were based on his observations as a journalist. And there's been a lot of journalists, and on both sides of the issues, where they said, no, we don't think China did wrong, or China did some wrong, but it's not my country. I don't make the laws here, but it's being exaggerated. Everyone uses WeChat here, Weixin, and
And Uyghurs are banned
there
from
is an
using that. Yeah.
applet. There is an applet that translates Uyghur and other ethnic minority languages into Mandarin. They are not required to speak Mandarin, but since this country is a majority Mandarin-speaking country, it is advantageous for them to learn that language.
Just because it's advantageous doesn't mean that it should be mandatory or that people should be arrested and put into vocation.
Sansol, wait. No.
If they,
What I'm saying here, even if I can
part
grant
of,
you guys
it's part of the
everything,
compulsory. It's compulsory education. You're saying that compulsory
but
education.
what I'm not. What I'm saying, really quick,
tantamount
I
to
understand what you're
genocide.
saying. What I'm saying, yeah, well, yes, I would consider that
you think it's
genocide because
wrong,
I
and
also think that
Wait
the
a second.
genocide that happened in
that's your Western
because the
values.
same thing happened in the U.S. where we put a bunch of indigenous tribes
Whoa,
into fucking
actually,
schools.
whoa,
it's not the same. It's
Sansol,
It's
wait,
not the
comrade
same. Why?
Selected,
It's not the same.
Let me
From an
say this,
historical
because like
and
I said, I'm
material
in China.
perspective, it
I
is not the
studied
same.
education back in the US and I study it here in China. Okay, let me school you a little bit. Okay?
Yeah.
First of all, China is united by the language of Mandarin. They are not forcing people to learn Mandarin and forget their
If they're
own
arresting them and
language.
putting them into camps to learn the
They are
language
not
and
doing that. Show
vocational.
me. Can you show
No,
me
they're not.
proof? Can you show me
He
proof?
literally he
So
was
far, all of
okay.
your sources
Should we
have
kick the
No,
other guy out of
you're
the
twisting
chat for
his
lying then?
words. That's
He said
the
twisting my
thing.
words.
extrajudicially arresting people and putting them into camps because it is illegal to not have an education.
Let me briefly intervene
No,
on behalf
that's
of.
not what's being said.
He did not say that. He said that it sounded to me that they found actual people convicted of, or they were found to be engaging in terrorist activity in villages somewhere, and they were subjected. I think is that what you're saying?
A whole million of them?
No, he didn't say that. He didn't say that.
Yeah, I'm going.
He only
I'm going
mentioned a
through
village.
Okay. The way they stopped the terrorist attacks from happening, what they did was
Is there any way
they
turn your mic
closed
up? I'm so sorry.
loopholes.
You're very quiet.
Four loopholes. So the solution one was dealing with poverty. And there's other arrests too that were made for drug dealers and whatever other crimes happen. Another thing is they didn't go breaking down doors. They did not go breaking down doors because Chinese police are not allowed to kill citizens unless absolutely necessary, and they get executed. There's accountability here that is not existent in the United States. So I'm sick of this projection. You're projecting America. You're holding up a mirror to America and saying, "Oh, this is China." It's not the same.
What exactly is happening here is you are hiding behind a mirror and not letting people see the other side of it because it would show. Yeah, you're hiding behind an opaque mirror because you're reflecting. All you're doing is a whataboutism. You can't actually address what is happening in Xinjiang.
We live in China.
Okay,
we
and I live in
actually
America,
encounter
and I can
police.
admit
We
when my country
encounter
does
people
something
from the
bad.
Xinjiang
Right?
region.
I can actually admit
Yes.
when my country does
We
something
know
bad,
people
and I
from
won't get arrested
Xinjiang.
for it.
We
You guys
know
are
people personally from Xinjiang. You don't. You don't know what you're talking about. So you're speaking
Okay.
from a place of ignorance.
Wait,
and
hold
you
on.
link RFA.
Let me speak.
So-
I want to speak because
She's
here's
been
the
much
thing,
more reasonable
Sansol.
too.
Okay, here's the thing. What you do and what everyone else likes to do is they go to CNN, BBC, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, this is terrible. They're oppressing people."
Well, I
And I just want
didn't
to
get any of
know
my
if you
information
actually
from
have seen the
CNN or from
footage of what
BBC.
was happening in Xinjiang. I just want to know if you'd seen them like hacking people to death and bombing
How
going off.
prevalent was
I'm
that?
just curious if you had seen that happening, because let me tell you, I watched
So
all
there
the
were
footage.
people. Yeah, no. So
Sansol, don't interrupt.
if you're
No,
making
Don't
an
Sansol,
argument,
let me
if you're
Sansol.
speak.
making
I'm
an
not
argument
finished.
from
Sansol,
disgust, if you're
Sansol,
making an argument
Sansol.
from
No,
disgust,
Don't
I
interrupt.
can do
If
the
you
same
interrupt, I'm
thing
gonna
with the
mute you.
videos. I can do the same thing with videos of
No,
the
you can't.
Pulse
No, you
nightclub
can't.
shooting. Yes, I
No, you
can, and
can't.
say that all Muslims
You
are like
can't.
that. You're
That's the
not
thing,
doing.
Sansol. Like,
The
that's the
argument that you're
thing.
making
We
is an
actually
argument
live
from
here in
disgust,
China, and
and that is not.
we can
That is a.
investigate it.
I'm
Well, you're
sorry.
just your
There's
investigation
no
is
proof. There's
CNN.
no proof of what you're saying.
No, I've already said I didn't use any CNN sources when I
Then what sources did
looked
you
this up.
use?
You linked
What sources?
RFA, which is that's CIA funded. So that
Everything
doesn't count
that
as
I would link to you guys, you would say is CIA or
yeah,
not.
and you would say
Not
Because
leftist.
state media,
Sansol,
even
like
though
I want to know. I want to know
Sure.
exactly what is your interest in this?
My
Because
yeah.
I'm
interest
just
in this,
curious. I'm just
yeah,
curious.
sure. I don't think that China is this like big bad like Saturday evening fuck it or Saturday afternoon cartoon villain that is trying to rule the world. No, I don't think that whatsoever. I think that
Okay.
China is doing things that are against the US, and the US is fucking losing because we're dumb as fuck. All right. Now,
Well, yeah.
what I will say, right? No, I'll agree with that, right? I don't think that their Belt and Road Initiative is a inherently negative thing. I think that there's a lot of things that China does that we can try and emulate here in the US. I think all these things are perfectly reasonable things to say. However, I can look at good things in a country, and I can also look at bad things in a country, right? I don't have any
Okay.
specific hate for the country of
Here's
China,
the thing.
and I don't have any
Here's the thing.
specific love
Can I
for the
tell
United
you?
States.
Can I
Sure.
tell you about your narrative
me.
that's very dangerous?
Which
Not
one?
only is your narrative dishonest, but this narrative that the US and the West is perpetuating in the media is literally harmful to the Xinjiang people and the people who work in Xinjiang, because that is their livelihood. Like, for example, the situation with the
Being
cotton and the
detained in
so-called
camps?
forced labor. You don't hurt people you want to help. That doesn't make any sense.
You do hurt people that you want to control.
No. You don't hurt people you want to help. That narrative is very hurtful.
Well, I think that arresting people against their will for having long
What arrests?
beards
What
or
arrests are happening against their will? Because
Okay.
can I tell you a story,
most arrests
Sansol?
happen
Can I tell
against
you a
people's
story?
will.
Can you please stop talking over me so I can talk? Like,
I'm
it's really
listening to
rude,
you. The
and
people I don't care to listen
I'm
to.
like, honestly, when I was watching you before, you weren't doing that, so now you're kind of doing that to me, and I don't appreciate it. Okay. I have been here for 5 years, and I've
Mhm.
seen a lot of stuff. Okay. I'll tell you a story. There were these vendors out on the street, and the thing is, when you have like street vendors, you have to like be registered to make sure the food quality is good and everything, and everything's on the up and up, right? Just like we have in the US. Everything should be up and up, clean. And there were these street vendors who didn't have that, and the police came by and tried to
Mhm.
tell them to go home. You know what happened? More
No.
people gathered around to support the street vendors. Okay? And you know what the
Okay.
cops did? They backed away. They didn't beat them, they didn't arrest them. Completely opposite of what you would see in the US. So I actually have seen police involvement here and how they interact with the people, and it's nothing like what you're saying. What you're saying, okay, is a complete lie, and you're projecting what happens in the US
I think
onto
that
China.
you
Because
are
that's the only way.
assuming
Please,
ultimate.
I'm still speaking. I'm
Okay.
still speaking. It's rude. Okay? So everything you're saying about what's happening in Xinjiang, you're projecting what happens from the US onto China.
No,
Because
because I can
here's the
also.
thing.
Well, now you're
No, please let
filibustering.
me
I
speak.
can't
Let me
respond to
speak.
any.
Let me speak. Because
Okay.
I worked in a vocational school here. Do you know I worked in
Oh
a
shit!
vocational
You
school?
were one of the people. You were
I worked in
complicit in
one.
in the Uyghur genocide, because that's really fucked up of you.
There's no Uyghur Hey, listen, I have
There's no
ethnic
genocide.
minority professors.
Yeah,
I don't
seriously.
care about this
Okay,
liberal id poll.
so
All right, I like to
I
actually
have
talk
ethnic
about the
minority
issue.
Liberal id
professors,
poll.
and
You
we've
just
talked
use
about
liberal id
how
poll
ethnic
against
minorities are
Kazi.
treated in China
Which
Lying.
part?
and their rights
You're a
and
liar.
everything like that. And the thing is,
You
there's
weaponized
no
I
trans
can't
ethnic
hear
genocide.
either
There's
of you
no
if you both talk.
genocide.
There's no genocide.
You're over talking me, and I'm trying to talk to
But the
you.
other guy is talking, and I can't hear you because of it.
Yeah, because you wouldn't
Focus
stop.
on what I'm saying instead
I
of
can't. You're talking
everybody
over me.
else.
I'll stop.
Like, you're an adult. Come
Okay.
on, we're not in
It's not
middle
an
school.
adult thing. It's a. Okay, go ahead.
Here's the thing. I worked in a vocational school in China. Do you know what the
Okay.
purpose of vocational schools are? Do you know?
Well, teaching people languages. Did you work at one in Xinjiang or just in China?
They're actually all the same.
Yeah.
Vocational school is a vocational school, and it's Xinjiang.
Sure.
If you're gonna say the name, please say it correctly.
Xinjiang.
Xinjiang.
Okay. Yeah. No, there's been debate
That's
in my
really
community.
disrespectful.
Oh, it's really disrespectful. I think it's really disrespectful how you're completely just sitting here and running defense for a regime that is
No,
actively.
I'm telling
There
you
you
my
go.
experience.
Okay.
Are you telling me my
How about this?
experience
Because you guys
isn't
brought up
true?
this
It's a
a
lie?
second
There's
ago.
the liberal
How about
narrative.
this?
Are
What
you
about
from the
idea
US
that
who hasn't stepped
one
foot in
second.
China
What
telling
about the
me
idea
my
that
experience is not
18%
right?
of the arrests in China in 2018 were Uyghur Muslims, but they only make up 1% of the population?
First of all, they have like. I have a question. Were you around
No,
for
answer that
9/11?
one.
Can I ask you? Were you around for 9/11?
Yes, I was alive for that, but that doesn't answer
How
my
old were
question of
you when
when they
9/11
were
happened?
when they
Can
when
I
they
ask you?
arrest
No.
18% of the
I'm
population that was
talking.
arrested is
How old were
1%
you when
of
9/11 happened?
that doesn't have anything to do with what I'm asking
It
you. I
absolutely
asked the
does.
question first, so
I'm trying to
I get
get
to
to
have
my
an answer.
point. Can you please answer the
Sansol, don't make me
question?
mute
Your
you, dude.
point. Well, I listen. If you're just gonna like sit here and filibuster and ask me questions in sea lion, then this isn't going to be a real discussion.
Hey, answer the question.
asking
Answer the
because
question.
I was around for 9/11. Like I saw it
Okay.
happen in real time. I'm from that area. Okay.
Okay. So you hate
And
Muslims now or something? What?
you know what happened after that? Muslims were being attacked like
Yeah.
crazy.
No,
They
that's
were
a
being
horrible
spied on
thing.
by the government and they were being attacked by the people. Do you know that when there were terrorist attacks here in China, okay, the government was actually telling people not to single them out because
So that they could go and put
these
them
are
in camp.
extremists. These are extremists.
Mhm.
That's completely different. If you actually watch the interviews, they actually interview the people who committed these crimes, and they tell you exactly what they're fed in order to do it. Do you know what I
Mhm.
find really strange? In the US, we never get to interview people who commit these crimes.
That's
Why?
not true. I don't know what world you live
Why?
in. There were interviews
Oh,
with people in
I'm
Guantanamo
living in the
Bay.
real world, the world with facts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
Okay.
I just want to tell you that, we have experience here. And I worked in a vocational school. And let me tell you the purpose of a vocational school.
Cool.
Because the vocational school helps people get the skills they need to function in society, to have jobs. Are you saying that people in Xinjiang don't have a right to have jobs?
I'm saying that if you're arresting them and putting them into schools against their will, that's a bad thing.
They're not being put in there against their will. How about people in the US who are arrested and they just sit there and they're not rehabilitated? There's nothing. Do you support that? Is that what you're saying?
So there's actually a native Chinese
What I want to
individual.
understand is when we talk about the vocational schools, you're talking about your idea of what a vocational school and the one that you worked in.
No,
but you didn't
I'm
work in
talking
one
about
in
my
Xinjiang where they're wearing
experience.
orange jumpsuits.
I'm talking
you're
about
talking
my
about your
experience.
experience, which is completely irrelevant to what we're talking about.
No,
You're using all
it's
this liberal
completely
info about how
relevant
you
because I
lived,
worked in
you
a
lived through
vocational school.
9/11, and I saw the things that happened there, and then I live in China, and so I
You're
can
looking
speak
at
on this.
random
I'm an
pictures of
expert in China, but
prisons.
that doesn't
There
mean that
are
anything that you're
pictures of
saying has any
prisons
more
that were
validity than what
called.
I'm saying.
Hey,
Because if anything,
there's
the
pictures
information
you
that you're
saw.
fed by the government, which
Those
is
pictures,
state media, anything that the
those
government wants you to
pictures you
hear
saw were
is
not
something.
vocational
Wait,
training centers. Those were
how can the fuck can I
prisons.
hear you? Can you please turn on your mic? I literally can't hear you.
Okay,
Are you okay,
because
Sansol?
Do you have a
Seems like
gain?
you're having a
Do you have
hard
a
time.
gain button?
Sansol, the pictures you saw were of prisons. Prisons exist in
Yeah,
China
prisons
as
that
well as
they're putting
vocational
Uyghur
centers.
Muslims
So
in
you are
right now.
being
Yes, there's
manipulated.
over
You are being
350 of them right
manipulated
now,
by the
and they've
media.
housed over
No,
1
those
million
numbers come
Uyghurs.
from Western media.
Yeah.
What proof
By
is it that
Western
He's
number
media,
is
muted. He's
true?
muted. Say what you guys want while he's
that
muted.
posted misleading photos of a drug rehab. There was a picture of a normal prison. There was the normal prison transfer. There were videos from other countries. There was so much disinformation put out there by quote unquote independent sources and picked up by the mainstream media that were out of context completely. So the vocational training centers are separate from prisons. Those are two different things. So if somebody is a 12-year-old and they live in this village in Xinjiang and they've never been to school before, the government says, okay, this person needs to be in school. as part of the poverty alleviation that they rolled out all over the country, by the way, there was a lot of broad sweeping universal policies that also applied to combating terrorism over there. So these are things that they were already planning to do. Poverty alleviation was one of the top priorities. That was Xi Jinping's entire thing. The president here came from a rural region. He grew up poor. So one of his things was like, we need to alleviate poverty. So part of combating terrorism was through education and poverty alleviation and building up the Xinjiang economy.
So Sansal's, I currently muted him because he kept talking over people. Jay's he also here, and he's from China itself. And
hello,
okay.
Definitely let him speak.
Yeah.
大家好，大家好。I'm a native Chinese. I grew up in Sichuan and Chengdu.
So how's everyone in chat doing?
You're unmuted now, Sansa, but let this guy talk.
I'm sorry. I don't participate in chats where people just sit there and filibuster and say things that are completely irrelevant.
All right. It sounds to me
unless
like
I can have my question answered.
But you kept interrupting them is the problem.
Well, they kept on interrupting me. They never answered a single question that I asked.
I think he answered your question quite comprehensively, actually.
Oh, sorry. I had muted because I wasn't going to sit here and get proselytized too.
Well, he was trying to answer your question because you kept talking over him.
Well, I didn't ask him a question. I asked her a question. And I can't hear him anyway because he won't turn the gain up on his goddamn mic.
Okay.
He could just turn up his volume. He didn't allow that.
I turned it up to 200%. I cannot turn up anymore.
Well, that's funny because everyone else can hear him like super clearly, but you can't.
Well, you can ask people in my chat if they can hear him as clearly as anybody else. If I turn up the volume anymore, then infrared is going to be peaking out and blowing everyone's ears out, and then everyone else is going to,
Sansol, what question did I not answer?
Fine, let's
what question, and then I'll let Jay.
That's the topic, right? Yes. Which part did you think he didn't answer like clearly? What question do you have?
What I wanted to know was when we're talking about her experience, liberal idpol, when we're talking about her experience in these vocational schools, what does that have any relevance to do with what we're talking about in Xinjiang?
Because it's the
it
same.
Doesn't matter.
A vocational school is a vocational school everywhere.
Because when we're talking about what's happening in Xinjiang, I don't know. At your vocational school, were they forced to wear orange jumpsuits, walk around in lines, and have guard towers?
They don't wear that. They don't wear that.
There's literal satellite photos of them.
If you're going to,
that's like pictures you've seen on Google, dude. That's not even what they wear at the vocational schools in Xinjiang.
At least I can do my own research in my country, and I don't have to listen to a bunch of fucking, state-sanctioned information, At least I live in a country where I have the freedom to learn what I want to learn and not get fucking arrested. At least I live in a country where I have freedom not to get arrested because I'm a Christian or I'm a Muslim or anything else. Listen,
just like Julian Assange. Just like Julian Assange.
So many religious Chinese
you guys,
people.
Look, I know that you guys can't say a whole bunch of things because you'll get arrested otherwise, right?
Free Julian Assange.
Oh, yeah. Actually, quite the opposite.
I don't want you guys to get arrested, so I'm trying to play nice. I'm trying to play nice here because I know that there's a bug inside your fucking computer and they're listening to every goddamn word that you're saying, right?
No, oh my God.
That's the NSA.
Are you have some paranoia? Because I don't feel that way. I can speak openly.
With CIA propaganda, if that's not some kind of paranoia, like if you need a tinfoil hat in order
the CIA is pretty open about what they do.
Wait,
what they do?
Wait,
then why isn't it like have a CIA?
Hold on, Sansol, I'm gonna mute you for a sec. Wait, Sansol, do you not know about the NSA, dude?
I know about the NSA for sure, right? What I'm trying to say is every single piece of information that I bring out, right? If every single piece of information that I bring out is just going to be CIA propaganda, Western propaganda, and there's nothing that I could possibly do, then what the fuck is the point of this conversation?
Dude, you linked Radio Asia. It's literally a government-funded media. Radio Asia. Radio Asia. What's your source?
Yeah, Radio Asia. I miss Radio Asia.
funded by the government.
God. You moved from Texas where you could fucking eat steak and shit, and you moved to fucking China so that you could fucking sit there and larp as a fucking anarchist. You're the fucking bitchiest little baby I've ever met in my life. Imagine moving from fucking Texas to China. What a fucking baby. What a loser.
Why are they not allowed
Holy
to speak?
shit.
Why are they not allowed to tell their story?
Dude, how do you not know it's funded by the government? That's a basic fact. It's literally on the first, like, you like Wikipedia, right? It's even on Wikipedia. It's an openly state-funded media company. That's what Radio Asia is. You didn't know that?
Earlier, when I offered we could have a fucking
so now, why are you accusing us of being paranoid by pointing out that it's funded by the CIA? That's a known fact. If you know it's funded by the CIA, why are you denying it now?
Because all you've done this entire time is talk exactly like every single baby LARPer in the fucking world. Every fucking LARPer that I've seen on Twitter has talked exactly like you. I need you to please shut the fuck up.
Why
Let the
can't
girl
we tell
talk.
the story of our experience? Why aren't we allowed to do
your
that?
experience would be relevant if you were able to talk about
It's absolutely relevant.
because
Everything we
I-
say is
in the
relevant.
Xinjiang vocational schools. Who's talking now?
She went to the vocational school in China. That's fucking relevant.
I was drawing my fucking I was drawing look, I was reading an article as we were talking, okay? That was my source because I know that you're going to say, "Oh, well, your personal experience doesn't matter." Everything
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. I like data.
No.
Then I feel sorry for you that you don't want to hear other opinions outside of like
this is
CNN.
liberal impulse. Literally, right now, what you're doing is you don't
because
to
if we use any source,
I want fucking data
you're
and I
gonna
want
say
fucking
it's
proof.
Chinese state media. You are not gonna listen to any counter.
I literally cited Chinese state media in our discussion with infrared.
Well, we were waiting in the show queue, so I wasn't.
No, you didn't do that.
Well, you should have fucking listened then, shouldn't you have?
Calm down, Sanso. Calm down.
You cited a secondary source.
He's probably lying.
You cited a secondary source.
I can't hear what you guys are saying. You're both talking.
How can I trust you?
You gotta calm down, dude. You sound really angry.
I sound angry. Maybe it's all the people that are scared that they're going to get arrested right now because they talk against their country.
You sound like a crazy person, man. Dude, you sound like a crazy person. You're going crazy, man.
Hey, can we let Jay speak? Maybe we should let a local Chinese.
Let Jay speak. Let Jay speak.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were a local Chinese person.
Let Jay speak.
I'm not. I didn't say I was a local Chinese person.
You lied to say that you were from China then. Okay.
No, she said she was living there.
I'm in China. I didn't
say
from China.
Let Jay speak.
I said I've been here for 5 years.
Oh, yeah. Okay, let's let the locals speak. They actually know what they're talking about.
Really, because I spoke for 2 sentences, I got brigaded by you're just brainwashed. At least I live in a country that's freedom, and you don't get arrested for speaking up. That's the
I haven't got. Hey, I've said a lot of mean things.
Sanso, I'm gonna mute you. I gotta mute you, dude. You keep talking over him.
This is all I fucking.
Sorry, guys. He's a white supremacist, and he's trying to talk over a native Chinese speaker. Please go ahead, Jay.
Yeah.
So I want to the show because, well, even the most Western media outlet could not said there was no evidence of physical genocide. So I come down here because this freaking LARPer white dude was taking this Eurocentric view on my culture. You can't view our culture, my country isn't. You can't just view it like a nation state. It's a multi-ethnic, multi-regional civilization. Chinese culture isn't dictated by either Han, Hui, Weizhou. We have 56 different ethnic groups. Was our culture heavily influenced by Han people? Yes, because that was the majority what built our civilization. But since the party's founding, after they liberated Tibet, they liberated all the other provinces which was ruled by either a feudal system or by a dictatorship warlord. They from the beginning, from the founding in our constitution was that our culture from now on, every ethnic group, Chinese culture is Chinese culture. We have different ethnic groups, but the fundamental centralized culture is Chinese. It's not Han culture. It's not Hui culture. It's not Muslim culture. Different ethnic group has different ethnic characteristic. So I really don't understand what this cultural genocide perspective is, because you just couldn't understand how an Eastern civilization and this worldview is, because this is just so insane to me.
It sounds like because Sanso is so scared of non-white voices that he muted you on his stream, but we're gonna go ahead and unmute him and see if he can respond to what you said. All right, Sansol, you're
Yeah.
unmuted.
So the reason that I don't think it's because they hate Uyghur
So tell me,
Muslims.
please, what do you understand? What do you know about
Shit.
Uyghur?
Well-
What do you understand about Uyghur culture? Please educate on me. I'm really interested in that. So what part
Which
of genocide are they
Wait,
committing?
you sat there and you talked for 5 minutes. Which part do you want me to respond to? The fact that you don't think that they're genociding them because there's multiple different ethnic groups. Like, I can explain why I think that they're doing the Uyghur genocide right now. It's primarily because there is a lot of people in Xinjiang that are seeking
Xinjiang.
independence. I'm sorry. I will be not able to catch the intricacies because I do not speak Mandarin. I will try to do my best.
But you are an authority on the subject, right?
Xinjiang, right? Am I doing it right?
You don't have to pronounce it perfectly. It doesn't matter.
She interrupted me to do that. So are we going to stop me every time I say the word, or can I explain further?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so in Xinjiang, when we look at what they are, what reasons why they might be doing this? Well, primarily the Belt and Road Initiative is going through Xinjiang. I think that's the primary reason. And there are people in Xinjiang that are a little bit more insurrectionist, or it seems like there was at one point a terrorist movement there. It didn't seem like it was even by other countries' standards. Because lots of countries have information and intelligence on all kinds of different Islamic groups that are going around and like blowing stuff up, right? Their numbers that they had. Wait, hold on. I think that's the primary reason, right? Go ahead. Yeah, sorry.
So because that's what Comrade Selected was trying to address, but you cut him off when he was trying to give you a historical context as to.
Well, he's too emotional when he does it. You tell me about it.
So I'm gonna elaborate on what Comrade Selected, which was during the Sino-Soviet split. Our government actually was training armed Uyghur minority near the Xinjiang and Russia borders because they want to undermine Soviet rule and they want to introduce instability. So, but that turns out that shit actually come bite them in the ass during the clock turned 21st century, because those armed groups are turned out to become Islamic extremists. That's why there's Uyghurs in Guantanamo Bay, because those fighter groups have splintered.
It sounds a lot like what the U.S. had happen, right?
Yes,
but you know what we didn't do? Throw every Muslim in our fucking country into fucking camps and re-educate them.
They didn't do that.
They didn't
well,
do that.
It seems like that's what they're on track to do. They've already done 2 million. There's a population of Uyghurs of 12 million. So
there's hardly any Muslims in the
is it a genocide?
Centers now.
It's not a genocide.
They all graduated.
Okay, if it's not a genocide, then what is it?
Were they mistreated? It's a mass arrest. It's mass arrest to fight
mass
to combat
arrest
terrorism.
of people. Yeah, to combat terrorism, which has died down because their measures were so effective that it's died down, and they've gone off to fucking East Turkmenistan, or they're in Pakistan. The what's the name of the fucking region that they want to call it? That Islamic group fled to Pakistan because the efforts were so effective in China. So now they're just locking up all the innocent people and trying to make sure that they don't also go that way, which I think is probably just going to make them angrier in the long run. Seems to me like it would be better if they just,
there's
were nice to them.
There's three mass detention centers.
There's 360 something of them. Don't say there's
360 something. Was there mistreatment during the prison?
Yes.
Am I stand for mass arrest because in the effort for de-radicalize and trying to combat terrorism? No, I'm not for that. I think when they're doing that, when they're heavy-handedly doing that, there obviously is what you white liberals quote human rights violation when it comes to
the rights.
No, I don't believe. This is such a liberal take. I don't believe a God-given right. Right is
no. I don't think that they're God-given. I think that they're things that we all accept that we shouldn't do to other people.
No, only whites accept it. only white
Yeah,
countries.
that's such a
accept
white
Oh shit!
liberal.
Well, if only. Well, hold on. Do you think that only white countries believe in the idea of not like fucking killing or raping each other?
So Chinese
I think that
values are
not being
based on
killed
two
or
things.
raped is a human right.
Two
Do you
things
do you
as far as
agree with
human
that?
rights.
That's really fucking
in
fucked
China.
up
There's
if you
two
believe
things
that.
that inform the human rights here:
Do you like rape?
Marxism-Leninism,
Do you believe in rape for all people?
and Chinese culture, and Chinese cultures.
I just want to know if you believe that there are some rights that all humans should be afforded.
I'm trying to get to my point. I believe a body of governments should like have a basic certain material condition and rights for its citizen. But I don't believe like if you just exist as an organism that you are just born with God-given rights.
Jay, I don't mean to cut you off, but this is kind of urgent. Sansal, I was just given evidence of someone in your chat. Can you go on my stream and see what this person, Joe Lewis, just said in your chat? Show her what a dick looks like. And you're saying you don't know where these dicks are coming from?
Where is it?
It's right here. I'm showing it on screen. This is directly from your stream.
I'm trying to pull up. I X'd out the Twitch tab. 1 second. Twitch, loading. Well, he's a streamer.
Okay.
If it's Joe Lewis, if you want to talk to him.
Well, he's in your chat actually talking to your community, so I think it's pretty clear where this stuff is coming from. It's from you. So we basically just proved it, basically. But continue, Jay.
Okay, so someone in my chat said what now? Joe Lewis said what?
Show her what a dick looks like.
Show her what looks like?
Me.
I think you know what's going on here, Sansal. I have direct evidence of it right here. It's right from your chat. And if you want me to, zoom out, here's Bones of Doom also in your chat. There's you. This is your chat. I'm just emphasizing it here so people can see it. This is a guy in your chat. Sounds like people are planning on brigade. Sounds like there's a lot of brigading that's being organized on your chat.
Well, where is the brigading? Because I see show her what a dick looks like. Can you show me the brigading part now?
Well, yeah, it happened earlier in the stream when a bunch of people coincidentally started spamming penises in text format. And before it was swastikas. So where is this coming from? So you don't
Joe
want to
just got here. Sometimes
you don't want to deny it.
I am disavowing any fucking penises. I didn't tell anyone to put penises.
Well, that's what
you can go back to my pod.
Is this appropriate comment towards me? Is this what I should be getting because I'm just trying to tell my story?
I never said
this
that.
is what your community is saying about a woman speaking for no reason at all, just because she's a woman. You don't think this is a disgusting
I think that they
behavior?
should. I think that she should shut the fuck up because she's wrong.
Wait,
all right? I don't think it's because she's a woman. Just in the same way that I think.
So
wait,
Sansal.
All right.
So someone in your community is saying, "Show her what a dick looks like." You don't think there's anything vile and disgusting and misogynistic?
I said that's pretty fucked up, and that he shouldn't do that.
So
right?
what are you gonna do about it? Are they still welcome in your chat, or is this how your community is organized? Just so we can get it on record.
Well, I'll type in right now /BAN at Joe Lewis and send.
Okay.
Sansol banned Joe Lewis. Is there any other one that you can show me that is organizing brigading? Because I'll ban them.
Nope.
So you were lying.
Not yet, but that's the one we have right now. It's concrete evidence of your community trying to organize.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, well, I mean, you can go back through my VOD and you can find me where I told people to go and
wait, their mod? Mr. Judo, send it to me. Their mod is also doing it? Where's that? This is Bones of Doom right now. He's not doing anything. Oh, wait. And Infinity, your mod. Join and do it. This is your mod right here. Look on my stream. This is your mod. And he's replying to Joe Lewis. Join and do it. Join and do it. This is the second time you've done this. Before it was with swastikas. Now you're trying to do it with this. This is direct evidence, dude. Can someone clip this? For fuck's sake, it's never been caught so raw. Wow, dude. This is your mod.
Raw. so raw, like all of how raw all of y'all's assholes are at the fact that China is doing something bad.
Stop
It's
trying to
absolutely
pivot,
fucking
dude. I
insane.
intervened because this is an urgent matter.
I'm sorry. What was the pivot? The conversation that we were
Wait.
having
No, guys. Everyone stop. I need to get to the bottom of this. Sansol, this is your mod. This is your mod.
Sorry. I just banned him, buddy. Listen.
Your own mod?
Yes, I just banned him.
Your mod as well.
My mod, yes, my mod as well.
Scroll down even more. What else? Is there anything else?
Listen, buddy, I don't give a fuck about anyone in my community. I'll fucking ban people if they do like the slightest thing.
Well, it sounds like you don't have a real community. A lot of questionable people are in your community. First, they're spamming swastikas.
How about we talk about China again? Like,
wait, we're gonna return to the subject. We're gonna return to the subject.
I want you to continue talking about China because you can't defend it. You've been pulling people in.
Well, that's your interpretation of the events.
You know that China. Well, one thing I think it's pretty unethical of you to bring in all these people from China, which every single one of these motherfuckers is on a list now. You put every single one of these motherfuckers on a list.
Wait, check the bottom of the chat.
Are you threatening us?
No.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Wait, Sansol, stop. Wait.
Listen.
Sansol, you said Joe DM me. You saw his comment. You said Joe DM me. Look at this. Sansol, Joe DM me.
Yeah.
About what? Joe DM about what?
Because he was telling me to go nuclear.
What does that
He's a
mean?
streamer.
What does that mean, go nuclear?
He wants me to go hard on you guys.
And what does that mean? Because he said, show her what a dick looks like. Mfinity said, join and do it. And Sansol said, Joe DM me. Someone please clip this. Please clip this. Dude, you're caught. I just caught you, dude.
Anyone in this chat to
You're
fucking
sloppy.
say anything that...
You're sloppy, dude.
I'm sloppy.
Yeah.
Just like all of the fucking Chinese.
Well, on the subject of China, listen. On the subject of China, you already got fucked. This is something separate.
China, all right.
This is something separate. You already got fucked on China, but what is this, dude? You just got caught red-handed. Like, this is direct. Am I going crazy or something? Could someone clip this?
You were crazy.
What is up with this guy, dude? This is the second time he's been trying to do this. First it was with a swastika. Oh, so the first time your eyes, you didn't see it, right? It was just a mistake. Is this a mistake as well?
I saw that one, but I wasn't going to show her my dick, so I ignored it.
Listen, you saw this right now. No one said you were going to show your dick. People were spamming penises in my chat. And this guy, Jolu, says, show her what a dick looks like. Mfinity said, join and do it. And Sansol said, Joe DM me. What does that even mean? Are you going to try to worm your way out of this one too?
Go hard on you guys.
Are you going to try to worm your way out of this one too? Is this also a coincidence?
That was pertinent to us talking about
Wait,
China,
is this also a coincidence? Listen,
talk to him.
Dylan Burns is a reputable figure. I want someone to send this to Dylan Burns. Dylan Burns, do you avow this? This is the second time your friend Sansol has done this. And this is direct evidence of him doing this kind of shit. Dylan Burns, I want to know what you have to say about this. Because Dylan Burns is partnered and he's a reputable guy on the platform, supposedly. And I want to know how far this goes. This is so fucking weird, dude. What is wrong with you? You're fucking deranged. Honest to God, you're deranged. Like, you got caught red-handed, dude.
Test. Am I back?
You got caught red-handed, dude. You got caught red-handed.
Yeah, you want to harass my partner. What's up with that? I saw the.
Is there a new person in here now? Sorry, my internet disconnected again.
Jay got disconnected. He needs to come back in. But
which one?
No,
the quiet guy or
your little friend. Your little friend. I saw the screenshot. I went to the one of the chats. I saw the screenshot. And
okay.
So your little friend and then you said, Joe DM me. What's that all about?
Well, I've literally already explained this multiple times. I mean, if you don't have ears, then you don't have ears. But
what did you explain, dude? Look at the screenshot. Are you gonna explain this away too?
This is literally the same kind of fucking Inquisition baby boy shit that people do on fucking Twitter. All right?
How, dude? This is direct evidence. This is direct evidence. Am I crazy or what?
This is woke scold shit. I didn't think that you were into this like left.
Sansol, it's not woke scold shit. It's direct evidence. It's direct evidence.
Direct
dude.
evidence.
Yeah, it's direct evidence. Plain as day.
That's the school you come from. That's the
Well,
what you come
according
from
to
because
people in
you
my
tried to
chat right now,
weaponize
you're taking people out of context,
against
and
Paz
they are.
earlier. I
So
heard that
show
part.
receipts. Show the full receipts so we can know the context.
Let me see if I can even scroll up that far because of stream elements. Let me see. Oops. Grab my
Show
camera
her
and
what
not
a
my
dick
chat.
looks like. Joe DM me. And you just said he wanted you to go nuclear. So what does it mean to go
Yeah.
nuclear, Sansol?
Paz, can we invite
Have you
Jay
never
back?
heard the
He got
phrase
kicked
"go
out.
nuclear"?
Yeah, but it sounds like
Disneyland
going
now.
nuclear means showing something TOS.
No, that's not what
Yeah,
going nuclear
that's what it sounds like
means.
to me, actually.
Yeah.
Because that's what you did last time. But you've done it
Okay.
before.
Yeah, you did it once before.
Yeah,
How can we trust
exactly.
you?
You've done it before. How is this a mistake again
I
on your
did it
part?
before, yes. I mean, we
What's the
can
weather?
sit here and we can continue to
Nuke
just, like,
is stream,
sit here
yeah.
and circle jerk about this, or we can.
You're trying to
Like,
worm your way
talk
out
about
of this,
something?
dude. We caught you
I'm
red-handed.
not worming my way out of anything.
Yes, you
we
are,
can sit here
dude.
and we can say the same
Dude,
thing
I
over
want
and
you
over
just
and
to
over.
admit
I
it,
wonder
dude,
how
'cause
many
we
of your
caught
fans
you.
want to sit there and hear you repeat the same thing over and over like you did when you got your ass blown out when we were
Dude,
talking last time.
how do you have no shame when we just caught you red-handed and you're still lying?
I have zero fucking shame.
You're
Listen,
still
I've
lying
admitted to
about it,
literally
dude.
everything.
We just
I'm
caught
not
you.
weaseling out of anything.
We just caught you
I'm
red-handed.
right here, baby.
We caught
I'm right
you
here, baby boy.
red-handed.
I'm right here. I'm talking to you still.
Can
If I
someone
was
please
scared
send
of
this
shit,
to
then I would
Dylan
fucking
Burns?
leave.
Dylan Burns.
Yeah, get Dylan Burns in here. Fuck it. I don't give a fuck.
No. Send this to him because we caught you.
Yeah,
This is
send
the
it to
second
Dylan.
time. I want to see if he condones this behavior of doing TOS shit. Really TOS shit.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So you wanted an example of leftist derangement? You're the
This is
perfect
it.
example of it.
This
I
is
think
exactly
that
what I talk
everyone that
about.
can hear this conversation
This is
can
it.
see what derangement is.
But you just got railed on the topic of China, but this is something separate now.
Oh, I've been railed.
Well, you did though. I mean, you did.
It was
You
humiliating.
ignored a
though.
local Chinese person,
blew me the fuck
and you've
out.
ignored us trying to talk to you and explain to
shivering
you
right now
about
because
China.
I've been
But your
destroyed by
sources are
actual
somehow
communists
so much
because
more inferior than a local
actual
Chinese
communists
person.
that moved
Our
to China because
experiences and our
Texas wasn't good
sources.
enough for them. It really is quite a shame. Can you imagine moving from Texas? We have things like the rodeo, good fucking barbecue.
And the Ku Klux
decent
Klan,
music,
meth
and you
labs.
What
decide
about
to
heat?
go
What
to
about
China,
heat?
a
Did you
place
guys
that won't
have
even
heat
let
during the
you
winter?
fucking
Hey, what about
talk to
heat?
people
Did Texas
outside of
have
the
heat?
country?
Excuse me?
Can you
We
Texas have
had
imagine?
heat during
Did
the
Texas
winter.
have
Texas
heat?
has the Ku Klux Klan.
Texas
the
didn't have any
Aryan
heat. What about
Brotherhood.
heat? Does Texas
I
have
heard
that?
Ku Klux Klan. I heard heat during the winter, and all of it is just fucking cope.
Guys, this is really serious though. Honest to God, this is fucking serious.
It
What
is.
we have right now,
This is really serious.
this is super fucking serious, dude. Dude, Sansal, part of me suspected, like, did he really plan that shit with the swastika? Maybe there's a 1% chance he didn't. Dude, you got caught red-handed, dude. Fucking handed right here. Like, how do you even deny this? How do you deny it? Please tell me. And if you're gonna deny this, why should anyone care about anything you have to say?
Start over.
Okay, I'm asking you, how do you even deny this right here that I have in front of you? How do you deny that?
I'm not denying it. I've been sitting here owning it, and you won't shut the fuck up about it. I'm owning every single.
You're
every bit
owning
of it,
your
all right?
violation of
You
TOS.
You caught a screen cap out of context on the fucking.
Okay, please
on
give me
fucking
the
chat,
evidence.
and now
Give
you're
me the
going hard.
evidence in context then.
I scrolled up. I can't go any farther than I.
Then ask your mods to check
court
the
by
VOD.
Kavas residue.
Ask your
I can
mods
show
to
it
check
on
the
stream.
VOD. The VOD saves comments.
Well, then my mods, hey boys, my friends, you guys can go and check the VOD for me.
Show us receipts.
Show us receipts, my friends.
Can you believe this shit, chat? Look at
Can
this
you
shit.
believe this shit? I'm actually so upset right now because
I'm not
this
upset,
guy,
I'm just surprised.
He has penises, and I think
No,
that they're
that-
bots, but they're
that
actually
comment
people that
was
he's taking
towards
from his
me,
chat, but
and
they're
that-
also
and that's
bots, and I won't tell him who the
disgusting,
people are, but
I'm
I'm
not
also
allowed
But
gonna
it's
tell
so
him
weird,
I'm not
dude.
allowed to tell
Like,
this
where do
thing
they
on
come
context.
from?
I'm gonna
basically
sit here,
telling
I'm
you to
gonna
show me
fucking liberal
something.
idpol, and I'm gonna do all these different things.
Wait,
and I'm gonna
Sansol,
be-
why are you
be
talking
cool
about
it.
liberal idpol when we're talking about you trying to get us banned through dirty tricks doing TOS shit?
You literally can't get
Yeah,
banned
and you
because
tried-
someone else comes into your stream and posts
you-
fucking like.
That's what
asking
happened
fucking
last time, but that's actually what happened
No,
last
that's
time.
literally not what happened last time.
Yes, it is. We got banned for hate symbols, and I have receipts of Twitch's reasoning for banning us.
Yeah,
and it
if
was
you
for
ban
the
someone from
Bonsal.
your chat after they post a hate symbol. you
No,
don't
it wasn't
get
from my
TOS.
chat. It was from the Discord which you posted.
Wait, was the penis in chat or was it in fucking chat?
The swastika was on display through the Discord chat that you invited me to.
Right, yeah, because you had the fucking Discord up on screen. Yes, what are we talking about right now? We're talking about dicks or are we talking about last time?
But spamming the chat with dicks
like you can't
is also TOS.
Last time. That's all you can talk about.
But dude, I'm not being paranoid. This is a completely reasonable, like, this is direct evidence. Am I crazy, chat? Like,
I mean, you are crazy.
Oh, Joe said a real dick. Joe meant a real dick. So you wanted to show a real dick on stream?
Yeah.
I don't think that's at all what I said, my friend.
Why did you tell him to DM you?
Go back in the VOD.
Why did your mod say join and do it? Why did your mod say join and do it?
You say that it's wrong, right? You say that it's wrong that Joe threatened my my colleague over here, my partner in our collective. We're Red Comrades in China, okay? And we're 2 founding members of this collective. And
you're a weasel, Sansol. You're a fucking weasel.
Are a weasel.
You are a fucking weasel, dude. We got you red-handed.
Yeah, you're a dirty rat.
Caught me red-handed. Oof.
Yeah, we caught you, dude. You're a fucking weasel.
Answer that question, Sansol.
I'm a weasel.
How's the weather in Langley?
I can't hear you. Your mic is way too goddamn quiet, my guy. I have you cranked up to 200. I can't hear you.
Do you do it for free?
Why are you? It's sexual harassment too. Isn't that sexual harassment?
To turn up the fucking mic?
No, to send dicks to women unsolicited on Twitch. It's fucking sexual harassment.
Yeah,
why are your mods advocating for sexual harassment?
Well, your friend.
You can make as many fucking claims as you want. It doesn't mean that they are true.
But what did Mfinity say? Join and do it. That one he directly responded, show her what a dick looks like, and your mod said join and do it. You said you banned them for that reason, but I scrolled down and then you said Joe DM me. You just banned those 2.
I literally,
you banned them. You said you just banned them.
Say the exact same sentence over and over and over. He told me to go nuclear. He told me to show her what a dick looks like. And he is DMing me right now. He's talking about, like, when you call someone a dick, that's what he's talking about. But,
So you said show her what a dick looks like means call her a dick?
No. That's not... Wait, okay. Do you want me to repeat it?
Yeah, repeat it. Go ahead. I'm confused.
Okay, so have you ever called someone a dick because they're acting like, an asshole?
Okay.
That's what he's saying that meant. But,
show her what a dick looks like.
Well, I mean,
so you're basically saying like
out of context.
Be a dick.
There's lots of things that people pulled out of context on you, and I didn't show on my stream because it made you sound even more fascist than you actually are. All right. Like what?
That word has no meaning.
Fucking Donald Trump and shit like that.
Give me an example of that.
Done on your stream that people
give me an example.
Out of context.
Sure.
And then I haven't shown on stream because it would have made you look like a dick.
Like
dude,
what?
Dude, you're still talking about fascism? You think we actually care about that? You think we're actually...
I don't think that you care about fascism because you guys are fascists.
Care about those claims.
You guys stand China. You guys are fascists. China is a fascist state.
You literally say stuff and have no idea of what you're talking about. Like, you didn't even know what a Nazgul was. You didn't even know that until the stream. You literally didn't even know that. You were imitating a meme made by someone else.
It's 11:01 p.m. Do you guys have any final memes? Anything final you want to say to me?
You're a disgusting human being. That's the final thing I want to say to you.
We got that. Who's next?
You're a disgusting human being.
Who's next? I know there's other people that want to say something. Infrared, you got something mean to say?
You're a weasel, dude. We caught you red-handed.
Weasel. Who's next? Jay, go ahead.
No,
let Jay speak.
There's absolutely nothing I can say to you. Like,
can't say anything to me. Struth, you go. You say a mean thing to me.
You don't even have a modesty of good faith. You're not acting in a modest.
Well, I can't act in good faith with people that are fascists. I don't think that you guys are capable of it. I think that there's something about fascists that they can't actually think correctly, or they don't have the worldview or the self critique to understand that they're literally.
But you haven't proved any. You haven't proved you know what the word fascism means.
Before I hop out.
But you don't know what the word means.
You don't even know what the word
why should we
fascism
care what you think about it?
Yeah. All right. Struth, you got anything mean to say, or am I hopping out?
Yeah, I do have some things to say, and I hope you can respect me and listen and hear me out.
No, just like one.
Can you do that?
A name or something because I'm hopping out.
No. I'm not even gonna do that. I just hope that I wanted to talk more about my experience because people can say, "Oh, that's Chinese propaganda," but you know what?
No,
Nobody
I
can
don't
tell
think
me
it's
my
Chinese
experience
propaganda.
is
I just
fake.
think that your experience is worthless in the context of us talking
How could
about
you tell
something
me
that
it's worthless?
requires
I literally
data
work in the
and
education
evidence.
sector in China. I literally work in the
Because I
education
don't
sector
think that they're
actually,
actually
your
trying to teach
moderator
people
says
very
I
nice
know
things.
nothing about
But you know what?
policy,
I love you
but
all.
I
You're all
studied
very fantastic
policy. I
people.
studied
I
Chinese
hope to.
policy for 1 year.
I pray for you that you all
Please
have a very
don't do that. I
blessed
don't
day.
need that. I just really hope that when people confront you with different terms and different situations, okay, he's gone.
He left.